Jarvis, drop my needle.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and if you are interested in listening to idiots, you came to the right place. Have a nice day.
Woo! That's an attention getter.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
You know, of course, that you're out of your jurisdiction.
Personally, I think you're an idiot.
But that's the evidence in the car.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Always like to keep my audience riveted.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, and welcome to Free Range Idiocy, the podcast about everything, but mostly just the stuff we like. It's been a pretty interesting couple of years with WWE going through more eras than Taylor Swift. First, we had the Paul Levesque era. Then we had the Netflix era. Now it's the ESPN era. Thank goodness one thing remains perfectly clear, and that's if there was a permanent theme song for WWE, it wouldn't be Triple H's King of Kings, or Vince's No Chance in Hell, or even Bobby Roode's Glorious. It'd be Shane O'Mac's Here Comes the Money. So dig down deep for that $30 and hand it on over before anyone gets hurt, because it's time for episode 219, Griftapalooza Recap. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the man who is such a good company man that he actually has 2 ESPN subscriptions. He has been my partner at Idiocy for over 2 decades and used to turn people in for having illegal cable boxes. I give you the man they call Tim.
Light it up, light it up, light it tonight. Like shooting stars will burn and light up the sky. Light it up, light it up, light it tonight. Let's light it up like the night,
yes.
Like the diamonds as they shine in your eyes.
Yes.
Light it up, light it up, light it up tonight.
I feel like I'm listening to Rihanna's song.
Like shooting stars will burn and light up the sky. Light it up. Light it up.
I can't
light
decide.
it tonight.
Am I supposed to light it up?
Let's light it up like the night, like the diamonds as they shine in your eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is AJ Lee's theme song, Light It Up.
Should I be lighting it up? I'm not sure.
It might be called Light It Up.
I feel like it's time to light it up.
But greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
You know, I'm doing well. I've decided to
yeah, woo! Look at that. You are sporting. That's right. You are styling
flying
and profile. Wait a minute.
Oh, of course, you've got the belt. Between the two of us, we're a half-ass Ric Flair.
That's exactly right.
We're Timu Ric Flair.
I'll throw it over the shoulder, and now between you and I, the costume is complete.
Ooh, I always liked it when he wouldn't do he would do those real kind of low, like he was trying to be subtle. Ooh,
like he was going in, like he was going to go in hard for a woo, and all of a sudden it was like, woo.
Yeah, it's like, are you Casper the Friendly Ghost? Like, what the frig is going on?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but I'm doing well. First Wrestlepalooza, so I felt like I needed to raise the bar, if you will.
Very
Still
nice.
got the T-shirt underneath because got to keep something.
I got to be
consistent.
honest. If I'm the talent and I get to hold one of these belts, I would want this version. Just hands down. Like forget the redesigns. It stays this way for all perpetuity. Like, this is the best version, and I am a WWE guy. So
you do know they don't get to choose that, right?
I do know that. I'm just saying, if they had a little stroke with the boss, they could kind of keep it going.
Dude, you don't have any stroke with the boss. The boss married the boss's daughter.
Well,
that's how he and at that point it's like, I'm pretty much here.
Or as Punk said last night, she's the boss. Wisely stated, by the way.
Punk's a smart man. Whatever you might think of him otherwise, that's a dude who knows where his bread is buttered, if you know what I'm saying. If you will. Oh my! I love Punk's jacket with the AJ's husband on the front. That was was a nice
honestly,
touch.
His entire thing where he's just like all about giving her the flowers. I mean, he is just, man, he's phenomenal. Just
Did you
phenomenal.
notice? You noticed they had a little botch, and I want to make sure I catch this because I'll forget while we're talking about the match. when the crowd is chanting "You Still Got It" for AJ Lee, and they cut to a wide shot, and you could see Punk on the floor. He's supposed to be knocked out, and he's clapping along because like "You still got it," and they caught Punk laying on the floor going like this.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
I love like the Randy Orton CM Punk. Like I'm playing with house money right now.
Oh,
I'm just going to enjoy myself as much as I can when I can.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Love that for him. Love that for us.
All right. Well, let's get into it because we have an event to get through. It's 5 matches.
Oh boy.
And while that to some podcasters would be an hour's worth of content, we find a way to turn it into 3. And honestly, I'd love it if we could keep it to like, an hour and a half, hour 45 if possible. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But hey, we have nothing's riding on this. We didn't do a Reel of Jabroni. We didn't do any sort of contest on this. It's strictly going to be about our reaction, our notes, what we liked, didn't like, and of course, what our listening audience always wants to hear are highly vaunted star ratings.
Yes.
So,
yes.
They are
second only to Michigan star restaurants, I believe.
Do you mean Michelin? You said
Michigan. Tires, Motor City. It's the same
what
friggin'
does this have
thing.
to do with the state of Michigan? But it's like, when you said restaurants,
I was going to talk about the 5 Diamond Award that Willie Bank had in Ocean's 13.
You should have known better. You shook Sinatra's hand.
Yes. 5.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, this event overall, just to start with, and something you said in our intro, I wanted to get your thoughts on was, it's funny how the eras in WWE are defined by the business deals that basically surround them. The Netflix era that started in January, and now we're in another era. Here we are in September, in the year of our Lord 2025. It's like the era you introduced at the beginning of the year didn't even last 9 months before the next one was introduced. So.
I'm just waiting for Brother Love to make a comeback and be like, what we need is for you to take your money and place it here. And actually, no, that'd be what? That'd be more Brother Devon at this point.
I think so. I think that would be,
maybe Batista would come back with the collection box.
Batista, affectionately known as the Deacon Batista.
Batista, that's right.
Yes.
God,
yes.
What a terrible gimmick.
I love how someone, though, had the wherewithal to at least have Devon try the preacher gimmick, I mean, he only practically did that for the entirety of the Dudley run.
Yeah.
And to give him like a singles run as the preacher with his deacon with the collection box.
Yes.
Which was then used as an implement for him to win.
Which, I mean, it's old school. I kind of appreciate that.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Well,
yeah. So I mean, this whole thing hinging on the fact of whether you're willing to shell out an extra $30, or if you already have the Disney Plus app, apparently you can upgrade. What is it, 5?
That's
or
a great
couple
point.
Extra bucks?
Yes. Before we even get into the cold open of this event, I think we should review a little bit how we watched this, because one of us was styling and profiling with their subscription. The other was doing their version of the early 80s box that got free HBO and Cinemax.
Me hearties. Yo-ho.
And help me understand, where were you, by way of which country were you viewing this from?
I happened to get a very exclusive invite.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was
I love
a very,
how you adjust the jacket.
It's a very last minute thing. Well, I did wear this jacket last night while I was watching. You can still smell the cigar smoke and the fine cognac that we were in.
Wait, you were smoking a cigar last night while you were watching this?
Yes.
My goodness,
I got an invite to go and
Style
watch
profile.
this. You don't know about this, but
Okay.
I feel bad for keeping this from you this whole time. But we've our beloved intern Patrick, who we haven't heard from a lot because I've been broadcasting here from Casa de Uncle Todd for an awful long time. But Patrick,
searching for a name for it.
it's not exactly Castle Cornet,
972 North.
Don't dox me. So, but Patrick's been holding things down at HQ, taking care of administrative duties. He's the intern who has not been paid a red cent, but he won't leave. Like I've told him, we don't have any cash for you, but yet he won't go get a real job. So he's been around this entire time. He actually told me last month. He confessed to me one of the times I went in there just to check and make sure the place hadn't burned down. That he confessed to me that he had falsified his application to be an intern. That he had not been completely truthful with us.
Okay.
And some of this having to do with his name.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so he's like a stage name or something. He's like, well, I didn't want any favoritism. His last name, Patrick Levesque. Now, the story that he told me is apparently he is the bastard son of like a second uncle of a certain person who might work at WWE these days. But apparently the Canadian portion of that family,
okay, I'm not sure where this
still
is
has some connections. So he was going to fly up to Montreal to watch the pay-per-view with his family. They had a whole big spread laid out. Apparently someone owns a club that is of not ill repute, but it's definitely not, completely healthy repute, and invited me along.
Oh,
private plane.
I see.
Jet plane flying.
I'm down here. Although at least I had this with me, so
Well, that's all right. I had free cognac all night, so so I was watching via Montreal last night.
Were you?
I was
live and in living color.
Yes,
and then you came back to your humble abode.
We were watching on the Montreal feed through Netflix.
All right.
Live via satellite or whatever.
How was the picture?
It was awful. It was awful. Of course, at one point we had to pause it, and then when it came back, it seemed to get a little bit better. So it was almost like it was constantly buffering.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, it was not great at all, which kind of sucked. But
just out of curiosity, where this place you went to in Montreal, was it near the ocean or water? Was there some surf? Was there any sharks?
There were no sharks. No.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to double check on that one. Okay. All right.
No, not at all.
I got to look at my map, see where Montreal is exactly.
Yeah, you
I just didn't know if there was any.
There was no surf and no sharks. Definitely not.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not.
Just checking.
Definitely not. But yeah.
So basically, you went on that trip and you didn't invite I had to watch this from
Well, I didn't want to say hey, you mind if
cave
once we get in the air, hey, you mind if we detour over to Chicago? I didn't want to.
Call 10 HQ here is basically the best I'm going to get. All right, I see how it is.
Well, that's all right. You've got your subscription. Now, the one thing I do have a question for you, and this has been a thing with ESPN in the past, because I have actually, I tried to get the ESPN app before because it was I wanted to watch a UNH hockey game or something.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's streaming on the ESPN app. I went and paid for the ESPN app for a month, not realizing that you pay the whatever it was. It was I think it was $10. It was not cheap. Whatever their app was before this, and then they're like, "Oh, input your cable subscriber." I'm like, I'm paying for your app. That's why I don't have a cable subscriber.
I see.
So when you update, because you have the Disney Plus, did you have to then put in a cable service?
No,
you did not. Okay, because
no.
I heard apparently a few other people did have that problem.
Their package when you upgrade from because we had a yearly subscription to Disney Plus.
Okay.
I moved from that to a month-to-month subscription of Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Unlimited. Okay. And that went off flawlessly. The only hiccup was just with Hulu because apparently you still have to register with the Hulu service. I didn't have to do that for ESPN.
Which makes no sense because Disney now owns Hulu, right?
So I had to show we were out last night with my youngest to celebrate his birthday, and I just pulled up the Disney app just to see if it happened to pop up on there, and sure enough, the first tile was Wrestlepalooza. And I held it up to him, and I'm like, I never in a million years thought I was ever going to see this. And it's like the Disney logo with WWE underneath. It was just like, what the heck? It's like the furthest thing you ever thought. So it's very well integrated, and no, I had no issue. I mean, and quite honestly, the app I felt was running better than Peacock in the sense that I could pretty much join. Like, I joined at the very tail end of the event, and I was able to start watching the event from the beginning without. Well, I should say this. I had to be down here on my Mac Mini watching it. I tried to Chromecast it, and the best it could do was the live post-game show. Like, even though I started it on my phone from the beginning of the event and then tried to Chromecast it to my television, it went to the post-game show. It did not pick it up from where I was starting.
Yeah.
So I had to come down here. This is my office down here. And I had to run it off of my Mac Mini basically, and that worked fine. That it allowed me to from the browser load Disney Plus, and then start the event, and I could start it from the beginning, no issue. So it was good.
Right on. Well,
so what do you think about the cold open? So okay, so you watched from Montreal. You were styling and profiling with the gold jacket. You were having whatever fish treats because we all know Patrick likes his fish food, and stinking up the office and all that crap. So tell me, sir, the cold open I thought was very cool. I very much appreciated, if for nothing else, realizing how ESPN and WWE were actually trying to grow at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was a very nice touch for them to kind of focus on the upstart nature of both of them, how they both went from upstarts to global phenoms and now are coming together. And I love at the tail end, Triple H, having, that kind of last word before he kind of walks off frame of, sports is entertainment, always has been, always will be. And, kind of led into then the music and the lead into Wrestlepalooza. So I really appreciate it. I thought it was very cool and loved how they just kind of wove in the history of the two companies becoming what they were, and now finally coming together in this moment, where now ESPN is broadcasting WWE events, which we never probably in a million years thought we were ever going to see. So
yeah.
What was your thought on the cold open?
I mean, it's all right. Overall, I think it was okay. We got a couple of Vince appearances, which is really going to be tough to cut around because, I mean, for the first however many decades of the company, like a constant presence, whether hosting the TV show from the studio or commentary or whatever. Like you can't. It's really difficult to cut around the fact that Vince McMahon was such a huge figure in that company on screen and off.
Sure.
Overall, I thought it was all right. Like I said, it was a little shocking to see Vince's face because he has been kind of persona non grata, in person and on video and by mention for a while now.
I think they only showed him though from like the 70s, right?
It was 70s, 80s, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
like they didn't show him after that. So I think it was kind of that maybe they were using the distance of him being very young from
totally.
What has happened now where we're kind of, revolted by him. But I think it was smart of them to kind of go, old school with him and then not really bring him into anything else. So
the one line that did stick out to me, the final form of sports and entertainment. I'm like, are we talking about a transformer? Like, is Unicron making an appearance at this thing? Like, where are we heading with this, Trips? I mean, overall, it was good. I've got to say, like, here's the thing. I appreciated and I understood why Triple H had to be such a prominent presence when Vince was finally gone and it was his show. Chief Creative Officer, which essentially is like you're running the show. I get why he was a prominent presence on TV and the beginning of these things and all that. I really feel like we're getting to a point where that needs to start going away. Unless he is going to play some kind of a role, which we got teased a little bit with KO at one point, where Trips came out and pushed him, and we were like, whoa, what's going on here? If you're not going to be kind of in front of you're not going to be part of the storylines, like, we don't need you at everything. We don't need your face doing the "Are you ready" thing again. Like, keep it for a couple times a year, but you're doing it for everything now. And I'm like, I'm kind of sick of it. And I was full in the bag for it. So I kind of feel like we need to start getting away from that. Like, and he's done it for, it's been for other pay-per-views as well. If you keep it for like the beginning of these new eras, granted they're happening like every 7-8 months now, then it's special. But otherwise, I get why they were doing it. It also is like the solemnity of the moment is kind of, undercut by the fact that you're standing on top of a Papa John's logo on the ring. I mean, it's just a little weird, but hey, I get it. Like, they're out to make as much money as possible. Overall, I thought it was all right.
I don't mind it though, honestly. Like, I actually
The Ring or Triple H?
The Ring. Well, both. I mean, I think I think his intro was quick. The live intro was short, brief, to the point, and he was out of there. And then the only other time you saw him was when McAfee was coming in, and he was just kind of. And I thought that was really cool because it was kind of a version of him you don't normally see, where he was, he had his arm around him, kind of celebrating the fact he was, McAfee was back and all that. I thought that was neat. But with The Ring, I don't know what like I don't know if it's just where I am in life right now or whatever, but with my fandom with wrestling, but there's something to me that's very cool to see The Ring with all those brands advertising, because it makes it feel to me like legitimate sports.
Yeah, it's very much a boxing sort of thing. And that's, and it sounds like a stupid detail, but at the same time, it's like because for the majority of my fandom, and you were a part of that, especially in the 90s, the late 90s into the 2000s, that mat has always just been blue. It's been a blank canvas, and like
that's
a very
all.
light blue.
Very light blue, but there's nothing on it, and there's nothing on the turnbuckles other than the WWE logo at times, right?
Which was always kind of like that thing of Vince was like, people said, "Oh, Vince thought that was sacred." I'm like,
But the fact now that you see, it's something as silly as like Papa John's or some of these other companies that are advertising, it just. I don't know if legitimize is the right word, because it's still, it's still scripted, it's still predetermined, it's still pro wrestling, but it's the feel that it gives. It just, it feels like a sporting event. It feels legitimate, and that's the part that I really appreciate. And then, that, and I'll get into like the first match and kind of the presentation there, but anyways, that's my whole spiel is like, I love the cold open. I liked, Triple H doing kind of the quick intro to kick things off, and just, the fact that it just looked like, kind of a legitimate sporting event.
Yeah. I felt like the other thing was it just took forever to get to the first match. That was what I was kind of just getting tired of like one thing after another, after another. So by the time we got to like McAfee coming down and everything,
it was a lot with the McAfee intro. I agree with you. I really wish they just had McAfee at the desk and they just kicked it off.
Yeah.
That would have been
like, I actually made note of it. It was 15 minutes in, and I made the note like, we going to start anytime soon? And that was prior to like getting a Cena Lesnar intro.
Yeah,
like a good 15 minutes, probably like closer to 17 minutes before we even got an intro.
Yep.
Which means we're like 20 minutes into the event before we even get first bell.
Yeah.
It felt like a long ass time. And it just, to me, it felt like even longer than that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall, okay. I get why they're doing it, but oh my gosh.
Yeah. It took a while to get to the intros.
Yeah.
It
took us a while to get to the meat of the matter. And then the
Speaking
meat of the
which,
matter was,
let's jump in. First match, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to give your thoughts and then I can give mine, or?
Well, did you watch SmackDown at all?
I just caught Cena's promo. That's all I caught.
Okay. I watched a bit of it because, again, I just happened to have stumbled upon.
Whoa. You were on the flight to Montreal Friday night, and
that was Saturday.
No,
I was there and back. I mean, it was
right.
In and out, like barely even had to go through customs. They just waved me through. Of course, I was wearing this, so they probably were like, "Oh, it's Nate. Don't go on by." I did have a special feed that Patrick hooked me up with a ship out at sea on the surf, as it were.
Were there sharks?
There might have been. I mean, it is the ocean.
Was there any surf?
It was on the surf. Yes.
Okay. I just was checking. I was just checking.
So I did catch a bit of SmackDown, and we had Brock Lesnar come down. Like there was some BS thing of like Michael Cole was going to do a backstage interview with him, and then they wanted Cole back there. So then Cole gets halfway up the ramp, and Brock Lesnar comes out, picks up Cole, carries him around, acts like he's going to beat him up. Corey Graves comes in for the save, and Brock Lesnar ends up like F5ing Corey Graves a bunch of times.
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
So when this match starts, or when the intros start, you have Michael Cole literally sounding like he's whimpering and going to piss his pants. And I'm like,
oh my.
I was like, seriously? Like, didn't we already do this with Gunter, and we kind of realized this wasn't going anywhere? I mean, you weren't trying to write Corey Graves off TV, right? Like, you could just give him time off. Like, what's going on?
Right.
Anyways, but yeah, he was playing up the whimpering. We did get the special moment of Heyman showing up to do the intro for Brock, which I thought was actually kind of cool. And I think it also lends a bit of credence to your theory and the rumors that I've seen of him joining the Vision, although I do have doubts of like, how does that actually work? And especially Brock in a War Games match. Like, I'm dubious of this actually working out well, because especially with the way that Brock is built up as the person that he is, how do you get away with this with him doing anything other than just destroying everybody the entirety of the match? I don't know. But anyways, we get a little burst for Cena, then it's all Brock. I will say the coolest thing that I in this match for me was basically the I think it was Brock doing it on Cena, doing Davey Boy Smith's version of the Power Slam.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I fracking love that, dude. I was that, and another move that we will talk about in the Io Sky Stephanie Vaquer match. Those two, I popped for those moves big time, because I was like, that's a move out of my youth. I love it.
Yep.
And it just looks cool to have someone up on your shoulder like that, and essentially then transfer them into a slam.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about it that your brain instantly calculates, like, they strong. They ain't just strong. They strong. Like, they can use that strength, and I don't want them to use that strength on me. Pretty please. I'm far too pretty to be hurt that way. I really actually like the Cena attempt on the AA early, and then Brock just basically just demolishing him with that lariat. I thought that was awesome. Just a way to kind of counter a finisher, and then just almost like and it was almost like a short arm clothesline too, because he still kind of had a hold of him and then just wailed the living hell out of him. It was a great way to show Brock's strength and just the devastating power of this dude. Even at like his late 40s, this guy is still a physical freak of nature.
Can we actually step back for a minute?
Yeah.
Because, one of the points I want to raise, and I want to let you keep going. What really stood out to me, and I'm curious how you viewed it from Montreal with, no sharks or surf, is done it. Candy Graham.
It's a land shark, totally different.
If you know, you know. So anyways, the presentation of Lesnar and I'm watching him come to the ring and get into the ring, and I'm just like, this guy, like just the presentation of him was just not that WWE did anything special. He just looks the part so well of the monster.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he is this unique or uniquely built human being who just looks like an absolute wrecking machine. And everything you see in the match for me at least, makes sense because I'm looking at this massive guy, like one of the few people on the roster that I think even closely measures up to him is Drew McIntyre. From a size and bulk and and
maybe Bronson Reed.
Maybe Bronson Reed.
Because of lower center of gravity and his bulk, you could say like maybe he'd have a bit of a leverage advantage, but it's damn few.
But my God, I mean,
Breaker with a speed advantage, but all it takes is to get caught once.
Right. It's just one of those cases where you look at him and you're just like, holy crap, like this guy legitimately looks like he can beat the hell out of anyone.
Well, and he can.
And he can 100%. But I'm saying that's what I mean with the presentation. It's everything. He looks the part, he plays the part, he executes the part. Like everything about him is just spot on. And so, yeah, I just was like, when I'll let you continue on because you'll run the gambit of the match. But the way the match played out, I was not surprised by and don't have a problem with, to be perfectly honest with you. I liked what they did with this. I very much liked it. But anyways, continue on, sir.
So the interesting thing here is that my wife was hanging on the couch,
hanging,
watching.
Was she holding on for dear life?
So she made the flight up with me to Montreal.
Oh, very nice. This was a date night, if you will.
It was.
Uncle Todd is a true romantic by having his wife watch a PLE with him.
Went through customs like, I'm right there, my assistant.
Why didn't you tell me? I would have sent the gold belt. You could have.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, I wouldn't have. You're absolutely right. It's staying here, ladies and gentlemen, with the man who earned it. Earned it. Go ahead.
Anyways, so she was kind of like half in and out of consciousness as she was dozing off to this, and I talked to her about and folks, I just want you all to know, like, I'm hyper aware of the ickiness of Brock Lesnar being here. And the allegations and all his tie-ins with Vince and all of that and all the shenanigans that legally are taking place.
Fair enough.
Not happy with it, but you know what? At this point, I'm not going to, like, it is what it is. I have zero control over who WWE puts on their television screen. So I'm just going to evaluate this in the context of the match. As I was explaining to my wife, I was like, this is a dude who's a legit collegiate wrestling champion who then has tried out for the NFL, who was a wrestler, then decided he wanted to go beat people up for real, went to UFC, was a champion there, got tired of beating people up for real and would decide I'll beat people up for not real and go make more money, came back, and here he is after years, and he just steps back into this, and he is still a dominant physical force. Like, there is no chance that anyone but maybe a few people on the roster could actually have a physical fight with Brock Lesnar and stand half a chance. Right. And the funny thing is, she's like, he's got kind of spindly legs. I was like, well, there's certain muscles, and calf muscles are one of them, that if you either got them or you don't. And Brock, he didn't get the calf muscle gene. So yeah, that kind of sucks. There's only so much you can build. That's why, did you know you can get calf implants?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but
people get calf muscle implants because it is literally a muscle that, like, you can train it. And if you're not predisposed to having big calf muscles, you ain't gonna have them, So that's kind of.
I guess that's one thing I have on Lesnar. Then I can
exactly
do a little calf muscle flex and outdo him. So.
Me too, and that's the only thing that I have. But here's the thing: like, I get where you're going with this, but the thing is, we're both in saying, like, you like what they did with the match. It's kind of presupposing what's going to happen. And I'm not. Like, I'm just taking this as the match here. I'm hoping that we then get War Games, and then this is, seen as last match, because this seems to be the way it's going. I would have much rather had have had 5 other outcomes, but this is the one we're heading towards, and hopefully that's it, because I think it's the most satisfying of the options. I'm looking at this just as a match, though, and not like what could be. And it was just an ass kicking. And just in and of itself, I'm kind of like, I was very underwhelmed. Like, it was just watching Brock kick the living crap out of him. And I get it. I get it if that's where you're heading, but at the same time, it wasn't much of a match. Like, it really wasn't. It's like judging like Ultimate Warrior versus Honky Tonk Man in a certain way. Just if you draw that out for like 15 minutes instead of 30 seconds. Okay, Brock. John got a few things in, but then it was just Brock beating the living hell out of him. And I get it, again, if the story kind of goes out the way that you're saying and the way that I kind of hope it goes. But, ultimately, Brock wins. I give this 2 stars. And I will tell you, I will also revert to my feels like rating.
Okay.
Because 2 stars is what I'm going to give it based on like, it didn't suck. I felt it was below average. It felt like 1 star.
Damn.
Because Cena's retirement has been booked so poorly, and that now we get this. It's like, now again, it feels like, I'm not saying I'm giving them some credit for what they did and for possible storyline and the drama and all that. Like, you silence the crowd, which is a tough thing to do now, because the crowd is willing to sing along and play along with anything. On Friday Night SmackDown, one of the things that illustrates this to the T is the fact that I think he gave Corey Graves 2 F5s, and the crowd was chanting for 1 more. I'm like, okay, Brock is the heel. He just took out a commentator, by all standards of wrestling reality, a bystander, innocent bystander. And the crowd is chanting for him to do 1 more. And he then did the heel thing, obviously, of denying them that. And that is the only thing you can do. So at this point, like, silencing a crowd is probably one of the greatest feats you can get at this point. Because otherwise they're kind of willing to play along with whatever, heel or face. So I give him credit for that. But just the fact that this is where we've gotten to with the John Cena retirement tour is that, again, he's just kind of getting his ass kicked. Like, okay, I guess, but it feels like, again, like it's another thing of like, oh my God, unless you really have a rabbit to pull out of your hat here, I don't dig it. I just did not dig this match, in terms of anything.
All right.
It just felt like, I again, like Hogan versus the Brooklyn Brawler. Okay, I wonder who's going to win this one, and that's how I felt in retrospect.
All right, so my take on this match. So I've already talked about Lesnar and the look. I agree with you. It was a great touch to have Heyman come back. I didn't watch the segment on SmackDown, but I saw there was an exchange between the 2 of them.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting, and was wondering if that was going to lead to something in the event, and it did. This match was okay. So I will agree with you that the build up to this match, I did not feel, and I want to say this because I think this is going to be a theme and is going to be kind of the bellwether, the measuring bar that we will measure these matches for this event against, which is, I don't know that the story going into this match was well defined.
No.
Okay. When Brock came back at SummerSlam, F5 Cena, it was kind of like, okay, well, where are we going with this? Like, again, Cena's on his way out. Why is Lesnar here? What is his what is the motivation? What is the beef?
Yeah.
Now, during the match, and I appreciate.
Have we gotten an explanation for that? Because I've been woefully behind on my TV watching. Has there been a Brock promo?
I haven't watched SmackDown enough to really get a sense of story, because the 2 of them have not, interconnected really at all.
Okay.
Lesnar has just been beating the crap out of people because he wants to get his hands on Cena, and Cena has been talking about who like he knows what he's in for with Lesnar, and he's gonna, he's not gonna give up. He's gonna give it his all. Now, one of the things that the announcers were talking about during the match, which I thought was interesting, was around the fact that, Cena has called himself the GOAT, has called himself the, the last real champion, and Cena's promo,
which was interesting that they kept that line in his intro.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one because in one way it kind of denigrates the current champions, but in another way, like Cena's promo Friday, I thought redefined what that like he took the time to kind of almost put a different definition on it.
So wait, he did show up on Friday.
It was either Friday or Monday. I'm getting my days maybe or my shows confused, but he did give a promo at one point where he talks about what it means to be the last real champion.
Okay.
And it's not about being the champion per se, but about the characteristics of being one. And so he kind of sets the table that way. And so in this match, he's playing that out, which is, he's getting his clock cleaned by Lesnar, but he's coming back. And I felt the story of this match was about Cena always trying to have that hope spot, that moment of trying to, turn the tables, and Lesnar just, shutting the door.
Yeah.
Like he gets some shots on Lesnar, and Lesnar, like you said, nailed him with that lariat. That just seemed to be the way it was going. And then, Cena gets his moment. He gets in not one, not two, but 3 AAs and still got a kick out from Lesnar. And then that kind of led to its own thing where Lesnar goes into, he hits 2 F5s, Cena goes to do his 5 moves of doom. He goes to do the 5-knuckle shuffle, and Lesnar gets up and gets him into an F5, hits him with a second one. I also have a note about, Lesnar once again had the red face of doom, where his face is like bright red. Like, you're just like, dude, are you going to have a heart attack here or what?
Well, I was worried. I'm like, how high is this guy's sodium count?
Yeah.
Like, dear Lord.
He gets a dangerous shade of red at certain points. And then he hits he basically hits a total of 6 F5s and finally puts him away. Now the match overall, it was a match in the sense that Lesnar wasn't just, this wasn't like SummerSlam where he was German suplexing him however many times he did and then put him away, and there was no offense from Cena.
Yeah.
Like there was some offense from Cena. There was some attempt, and it looked like he was getting the better of him, and it looks like it looked like he was gonna overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I wonder if we're in for a more longer term story with the two of them, because it feels like if this is one and done and Lesnar is on to someone else or disappears altogether, then I'm going to be sitting here like, what was the point of bringing him back?
Exactly.
Which plays into what you're saying. I have a belief that this is the first of a 3-chapter story where Lesnar comes out. And the reason I say that is I found it interesting with the entrance of Cena. He brings out all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really cool thing they did. He has the kids kind of run with him, and it's very much the Rocky thing. Like I feel like we're in this Rocky Clubber Lang sort of story where Rocky comes out and he's feeling like he's on top of the world and he's going to overcome because he's got hustle, loyalty, respect, his three demandments as Hogan would say. And he gets his clock cleaned and he loses and he hobbles out of the arena. And the other part of it is the camera shots they chose where they focused in on kids in the audience who were like crying or who were very upset by what they saw.
Oh yeah. The wife was like, are they crying? I'm like, it's little kids. Like, yes, of course they're crying. So you cry at commercials. So let's not let's not judge, shall we? I'm pretty sure I've seen you cry at a Tide commercial. Let's calm down a little bit.
Let's, thou cast the first stone,
Yeah. Glass houses. Glass houses. It's not just a Billy Joel album.
So that's why I'm thinking this is either going to be a 2 or 3 chapter story where Cena comes back and makes it his mission to clear up and to definitively determine whether he like I can almost see a situation for like if Lesnar ends up being his last match, and there isn't a second match until that the second match is the last match, or if it goes 3, I could see Cena making that last match as the definitive statement on who he is. Like, I'm sitting here saying hustle, loyalty, respect is principles of life that have driven me to the success that I've had and into who I am.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't beat Lesnar, then that invalidates the majority of like isn't that a great story? Like, if you say, look, I've been preaching this, the kids have believed me. If I don't overcome this man, then everything I've been doing for the last 20 years is nothing.
Yeah. Again,
but if I overcome,
mm-hmm.
In my last match, then I will retire having firmly planted a flag saying these demandments are the way to. Oh, I've got Uncle Todd convinced. Look out, he's humming. He's got the vapors. So when I gave this my star rating, so you gave this 2 stars? You said
2 stars. Yes, sir.
I gave this 3.5 because this match was above average. It served the purpose of Lesnar beating the absolute snot out. I mean, Lesnar looked like an absolute animal, especially at the end of the match when he comes back in the ring. He F5s the ref and then picks the ref up by his belt buckle and throws him.
That was a nice moment where I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, seriously, everything about the presentation of the man
Do you think there was a
animal.
conversation beforehand where they're like, hey, Brock, are you going to be able to pick him up, or do we have to find a small ref? And Brock just looks at somebody like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Whoever you have for a ref, I can pick them up.
Yeah.
Unless Bronson Reed is a special guest referee, I'm good.
I'm good. So I gave this one 3.5 stars because and again, I'm a little bit influenced by what I saw and this leap I'm making that this is not the last time we see Cena versus Lesnar.
From your lips to God's ears.
If this is, I'm 100% wrong. I think Uncle Todd is justified with the 2-0 at that point. But I'm going 3.5 because this was above average, and I feel like this was setting the table for either a second or a trilogy of matches, a duology or a trilogy, where Cena at the end of it is conquering Lesnar as his final act before he rides off into the sunset.
I'm not averse to that. Like I said, from your lips to God's ears, I hope that's what happens, but I'm just judging it on the merits of and what I've seen up until now, rather than what extrapolating.
But on
outwards.
the merits of the match, I thought the match was still worth a rating of that level because of the fact that it was just an absolute ass whooping. Like, that was the story of the match. It was never about Cena. I mean, you go into the match thinking Cena's going to overcome, but again, much like Rocky and Clubber Lang, right? I mean, one of the things that makes Rocky 3 a great movie is you see Rocky get his clock cleaned, and he didn't think he was going to. But he didn't have the right mindset. He didn't have the right heart. And I think, that's the story they're telling here. Cena went in thinking he was going to overcome, and he met reality head on, and reality was well portrayed. I really feel like they really went out of their way to make Lesnar look like an absolute freaking animal.
They did.
And so anyways, that's where I sit with it. 3.5 stars, the match itself and the match and what it may lead to.
Excellent. I need to avail myself of a 30-second timeout. I've been hydrating thoroughly here, so I apologize.
No worries.
I'll be right back.
All right.
A few minutes later.
All right. Next match of the night, we have Braun versus the Usos.
Braun squared.
Yes.
Versus the Usos squared.
Yeah.
And what can only be determined as a mathematical equation that is about to happen.
In the squared circle.
Oy.
I mean, what else do you want?
And then
a rubber biscuit?
You throw in the great equalizer of LA Knight, and there you have it.
Oh, my gosh. My first and actually largest question in this entire scenario.
Yes.
Is this seriously the best that we can do for Lawrence Albert Knight at this point? Like, can't we find, like, what are we doing here? This is again like the first half of the show.
Have you been watching Raw?
I've been way behind, but
the last 2 weeks of Raw have been built around the fact that LA Knight and Jey Uso have had an issue.
Which great, except for the fact that you're putting LA Knight, who has been main event adjacent now for like a year. Okay, great. He doesn't like Jey Uso, who has the moniker main event Jey Uso, and yet he's not in the main event most times. In fact, most of the times he's jerking the curtain. Again, like it feels again like booking is such an issue where I'm like, your clock is running out on some of these things that people are telling you, hey, we want this. And your way of getting LA Knight onto this show is he's going to be the guest referee in this. Okay. It led to some great moments. LA Knight was probably my favorite part of the match.
I think the fact you haven't been watching Raw though kind of does, and maybe this is true for me too with some of these matches, because I have not been watching SmackDown really at all.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been watching clips on YouTube for certain elements of the show, and so some of my comments on later matches may be out of place, but the last 2 weeks of Raw have been something around Jey Uso ends up getting, so 2 weeks ago, LA Knight's helping the Usos. He's there's a sequence that happens where he's running at Jey, but it stops himself before he hits him, but then gets out of the way when Breaker or Bronson Reed comes in with a shoulder into the turnbuckle.
Mm-hmm.
And so later in the show, Jey exacts vengeance on LA Knight by nailing him with maybe a super kick. I don't remember what it is, but
a super kick, really? Wow, it's so unusual.
Whatever. Anyway, or a spear or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, last week or this past week on Raw, LA Knight again. LA Knight tags with Jimmy Uso, and again is in a situation. This time, Jey is in a situation where he's almost about to hit LA Knight, stops himself. Looks like they're good. They shake hands, whatever. And then LA Knight nails Jey with the BFD to even the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
His whole thing is now we're good. Now we're even.
Mm-hmm.
So now going into this match with that background, it makes sense to me that they would put Knight into the referee role because he has this thing still lingering with Jey.
Yeah.
He has the beef going with the two Brawns and the Vision overall.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to me, it's not so far-fetched that if he's not on the show to wrestle, that you bring him in as a ref to kind of navigate basically two parties that he has kind of a beef with.
Which, I'm
just saying, I don't know if that it's my very poor 1 minute way of explaining what's happened in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I liked how Cole explained it,
makes sense.
Where Jimmy Uso is like the one person that LA Knight doesn't have a problem with in this match.
Yes.
Which I was like, okay, I get it. I'm sure there's shenanigans afoot. I guess my problem is he's hovering at the outer edges of the main event without ever getting close to being in a main event storyline.
I think it's timing. I think it's unfortunate timing for him.
I don't think it's unfortunate timing. I think it's because WWE and Trips here are continuing to rely on a bunch of guys who are trying to insert a bunch of guys into the main event that are only part-timers and are enamored with this thing. And it's like, you've got a guy here. Everybody's telling you they like him. You apparently like him because you brought him back to the company and we're not going to use him. Okay. I guess. I don't know. But anyways, that was just we can talk about that. But the match itself, again,
Usos with the never-ending intro.
Oh, dear God. Now they're going to put a promo in the middle of the intro. Like, we need that. And as well as the run back. Frack me. I mean, and the one thing I will get is I do appreciate the fact that the kids that are getting involved in the yeeting on the way to the ring, that's cool. Okay, great. I love that. That's a nice moment. But again, once we do we need a promo? We need a freaking promo in the middle. Like, we're already at the match. You're in the middle of your entrance. Just get to the freaking ring. You know? My highlight of the match, early part of the match, was when Jimmy Uso gets out the chair and LA Knight just sort of goes, go ahead.
I think it's both. I think it's,
and he wasn't counting like any rope breaks, nothing.
No, Bronson Reed, set the whole table here.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Bronson Reed grabs the chair and he is like, "You better not use that. Don't use it." I mean, he's admonishing him.
Yes,
and Reed's just like jaw jacking with him, and then something happens where Reed loses the chair, and then Jay or Jimmy gets it.
No, Jimmy gets it.
Or Jimmy gets it, and Knight looks at him. He's like, "Meh," and he turns around. and Heyman, to his credit, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if Heyman is nothing else, he is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
The look on his face, like, how can this be? Like, the injustice of it all was all written on Paul Heyman's face, and it was absolutely hysterical.
The son of a litigator was apoplectic that this injustice would be taking place. Never mind the fact that he has screwed over everybody in real life and in the wrestling life.
Yes,
at one point or another.
Absolutely.
I did also love the after that happened, of course, then Bronson Reed sets up the chair and is like, I'm just going to do what I want. And then the tables get turned and Bronson runs into the chair and LA Knight gives another shrug like, hey, that's what you get. That's what you get.
You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Oh my gosh. That was so great. Overall, I felt this match, it did a good job of, Breaker and Bronson Reed being are getting better as a cohesive tag team.
By the way,
buying
can I
them a
just
little
jump
bit
in
more
with their entrance?
Mm-hmm.
The Rick Steiner-esque jackets they were both wearing.
Yes,
I thought was very cool. This was, of course, Rick Steiner circa mid to late 90s WCW, but the leather spike jackets were a nice touch. And one thing that I just want to say real quick is I am not a fan of the fact that they're using the on-the-shoulders bulldog that the Steiners used to use as a bit move in the middle of a match. Like, that used to be a finisher for the Steiners.
Mm-hmm.
And an impressive one at that. Like, I remember seeing, like, that was something that made them jump off the screen to you. Like, holy crap, is their opponent okay? Because that looked like a nasty move.
Yeah.
And I love that they brought it back, but I hate the fact that they're using it as kind of a mid-match move as opposed to, like...
It's a transitional move.
Like, I would love if they just used it as their finisher. Like, hey, he's bringing out something that, his uncle and his dad used to use, you know? And to me, that would be really cool because that's what made the Steiners was their innovative offense.
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't want to pick too many nits here with Braun Breaker because we have to, differentiate here.
Oh, wait a minute. I had to do the Braun, seizure thing.
I thought you had gas.
No, I was trying to do the Braun thing that he does when he's like...
The top rope Hurricane Rana, the wasn't the Frankensteiner?
Yeah.
It's got to be done right. I think Sami Zayn took it best.
Yeah.
When either Jay or Jimmy, I can't remember who took it, there was a delay. It almost felt like they were moving after Braun was already doing the flip. And I'm like, it doesn't, like something
I love
about
the effect of him doing this and then going into it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just think
it's the timing of it.
Yes. And if the timing isn't right, it doesn't look as good. And that, because the first part of that is impressive. Like watching him run up the friggin' turnbuckles and then stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just think about the physics of this. He's running up, runs up the ropes, and then stops and perches for a moment to do his little pose, which object in motion tends to stay in motion until he's posing on top of these ring ropes, which, are round with a flat surface of his foot. So that's difficult. But to bring yourself to a complete stop and then get going again in the reverse direction, it's fracking impressive no matter how you slice it. But then if the other person isn't ready, or if Braun's timing is off, I don't know which it is, significantly less impressive because then it looks janky. That was one nit I had to pick there. Otherwise, I felt like they were actually a good, a fairly cohesive tag team. You know, they've got kind of the matching gear now, the matching coats. Heyman, like, okay, I'm kind of buying these two as a tag team now. Before, it felt like the cohesive music at the beginning, which is such a huge thing.
Yep.
To actually have, like, instead of two themes bashed into one, to like, here's the thing. All of that works. So that was nice. I mean, it helped that the Usos have been tagging forever. I don't know, man. It still felt like it was okay. I felt like I felt better about this one just because I'm like, I had a kind of bad taste from the first match. I gave it 3 stars.
Okay.
I felt it was above average, but I didn't feel like it was that above average. Like, it was a good tag match.
Okay.
I would have rather had, like, hell, Run Me Back, Motor City Machine Guns, and DIY, and I would have enjoyed the match better. But I understand why, for purposes of, you know, story and money, you put these guys on. But
may I rebut?
Yeah, pretty please do.
So I actually gave this one 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I gave it 3.5 was because I thought as a tag match, it was very well done in the fact that Braun and Bronson, cut the ring in half.
Mm-hmm.
This was another great, like one of the things I'm realizing with both of these teams is how well they work together. You know, and I know, like, at SummerSlam, it was Jay and Roman.
Yeah.
But Jimmy and Jay versus these two, and the way that they did the tag match, like, I forgot for a moment that Jimmy and Jay really have a very limited moveset. And the limited moveset was on display in that match, but the way they did the tag match and the way that they were, grinding Jimmy down,
mm-hmm.
and it was a big deal when Jay got in, and how that all went, was what I think made the match really good for me. Like this was a great way for, first of all, the Brawns to get a win back. It's momentum for them. They were the right team to go over, because they are the young upstart, kind of team that is, and the vision overall, they've got to rack up victories to look like a threat for when later on they start to get their comeuppance. And it can't always be one for one. They lose one, they win one, they lose one, they win one. So I like the fact that they hit this and got the win.
Mm-hmm.
The Usos did a night. It was great to see them together again. I had a note about the Usos doing the 1D was great. There's a great sequence with all 4 of them hitting their respective moves kind of in sequence. It was just Bronson hit his, Breaker hit his, Jay hit his, Jimmy hit. I mean, it was very well laid out the way they did it, and it made sense.
It was, but I'm not trying to down in this match in particular, but do you feel like this is kind of becoming a cliche? Because there's like 2 or 3 times in this PLE that I wrote finisher spam, because that's kind of becoming a thing of, like, you get into multi-person matches or interference or anything, and it becomes this thing of, like, everyone's got to hit their finisher, and then there's still somehow a kick out. It just feels like that's becoming such a trope that it's kind of verging into making finishers meaningless. You know?
I can kind of see that as being a little bit of a gimmick. Yeah, definitely. One thing that was interesting.
It was well done, though. I will give you that. Like, it was. I agree. It felt timed out well. It worked, but it's feeling like this again.
I mean, honestly, one thing I found interesting during this match is, and I had to rewind it a little bit and watch it again, was I wasn't taking notes. Like, I was so captivated by the match.
Yes.
And to me, that's a credit to the match itself. Like, like the fact that I'm forgetting to take notes means I'm so engaged in the match and I'm so into it that I'm not really thinking about trying to take note of what's going on for, discussion later on. It's this is a really good, tag match. Now, it's not near a 4.0, it's not between 4 and 5 stars by any stretch, but I mean, it is much better than an average match. And I thought it was really well done as a tag match. One thing that I played a little Inspector Clouseau on a little bit was I was really thrown by, at the very end, what the hell happened with Jay, because he started bleeding like a stuck pig all of a sudden.
Yeah, like I couldn't figure out how he got busted open.
The only thing that I can think of that I came to a conclusion on,
because at first they showed it on like it was on like Breaker's back at one point.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Right. So Jay is not. Jay has a chair, and Jay is not bleeding.
Yeah.
And Jay goes to nail Breaker with the chair. And what I think ends up happening is I think there's a kickback that happens with the chair that hits Jay in the head. Because it is right after he hits Breaker on the back that all of a sudden he's just got blood coming out of his forehead all of a sudden.
I love how you're going all JFK on this thing where you're like back.
The only
and
thing
to
I
the
can
left.
think of, honestly, that's the only thing I can think of because there's no other action that happens in between. It's literally hit.
Yeah.
And the camera angle's funky. They switch from one angle to another. And after he hits, you see Jay with just a bunch of blood on his head. So the only thing I can garner from that, because he does go down when he hits, his head goes down with the swing, is that it kicks back and hits him in the head.
Yeah, that would make sense because he's following through.
And then he ends up staggering backwards onto the ropes, which I'm almost wondering is because he actually like staggered himself. Like he nailed himself in the head and he's like, oh shoot, what the heck happened? Yeah. And now it's like everywhere. And I mean, he was really bleeding out. It was not. And I have another note. So
there was like streaks on Braun's back. I'm like,
yeah,
where did all that blood come from that friggin' quickly?
Right. And there's a point right after that happens. And I'm wondering if Triple H and crew is never going to let Knight referee another match because he talks so freaking loud.
Oh yeah.
That he goes over to Breaker and you hear him go spear. Like he literally calls Breaker to do the spear. Like, I don't know if they shortened the match or something like that, but at that point, Breaker nails the spear on Jay. And then, and I noted this, it was a weak spear of both Usos through that table. It was weak. Well,
at first you notice Reed couldn't set the damn table up right.
Oh yeah, no, yes. Knight went in.
Knight had to go over and like kick the leg down.
Knight had to do a little construction work there.
And I'm like, I don't envy him that because it's like there's no way that you're going to maintain the reality of this, but at the same time, you're like somebody going to get hurt,
right?
And the fact is, like at that point, like Knight is like one of the most experienced guys in there.
Yeah,
because Reed and Breaker.
Well, he's probably getting it through the earpiece too. Like you've got to get that leg knocked down because when we go through, if that leg is stiff, that could cause a problem. Now, one thing I love though, so Breaker does the double spear through the table.
Yeah.
And then Bronson does the not splash,
tsunami.
What is it called? The tsunami, and he gets the pin. But as the count is happening, 1, 2, and then you see the table just go over on Jimmy on the 3 count. I'm like, they couldn't have timed that any better. Like literally on the 3 count, the table just goes right over Jimmy.
Notice that. I got to go back and watch that now.
Absolutely phenomenal. So overall, I gave this one 3.5 because it was above average. I think the two Brauns are a strong team. I think they have great chemistry with the Usos, and it just, not a 4 to 5 range at all sort of match, but it was a very good tag match in how they did it. And I got lost in it. I wasn't noting a lot of stuff because I was lost in it. So
I do appreciate Knight kind of going a little bit more into Steve Austin territory with not giving a rip and stuff like that. I do appreciate that. So there was some very nice parts of this match. I just overall I was like, it's maybe I was just being a grumpy bastard at this point.
You are.
I am.
All right, at this point, I think I'm going to take a breather. So
okay, fine.
Well, I've had my chai, and I finished off 1 bottle of bourbon, and I'm now opening up another one. So.
My gosh, look at you go.
I am. I'm on a
crazy
roll, baby.
straw.
On a roll, baby.
One eternity later.
All right. So where are we here? We are on to the Women's World Championship.
The match that maybe should have been the main event.
I didn't say it, but you did. So let's go with that. We got Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer for the vacated Women's World Championship.
Can I just say there's no colder motion than Stephanie Vaquer doing? like with that, like I don't do it justice. Like her face, her whole like thing, and I'm just like, okay, I wouldn't mess with her.
The funny, you know what it is, and this is, so I texted the man they call Tim on Friday night because I was watching the aforementioned SmackDown, and Nia Jax somehow managed to get her way into another promo segment.
Fan of the show, a friend of the show. Nia Jax.
I mean, the thing is, apparently behind the scenes, people like her. She's in all the TikToks and all the reels and all that stuff, and she might be the sweetest person. I don't know. I just know that, like, at this point, there's times when you have to admit, like, someone just is not working out. It'd be like if you hired me at NASA to try and figure out trajectories and orbits, and you realize I suck at math. It's probably time to call it.
It's well documented that you do, sir, by the way.
Exactly. Facial expressions make or break. And I think that there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of coaching up and all that, and there's some people who just have it naturally, a natural inclination, and then I'm not saying they don't work. They work their asses off to then get better and progress to that next level. Nia Jax is terrible with facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like she's always fighting off, like letting go with a really big fart. Like I can't express it. Like it's not intimidating. It just looks like there's gas or something going on. I wish it were better because she could be a great monster, but I just never buy her as that monster because her facial expressions just don't carry that. Stephanie Vaquer manages to pull off intimidating, like, confidence and a weird, like, I don't want to say sensuality because like there's so much sexualization of women's wrestlers anyways. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go down that, but there is like this sort of mischievousness that also has there is a bit of titillation there. You know what I mean? Like I can't describe it necessarily, but there is a lot of levels to that look when she does that sort of thing. And yes, it is an intimidating look, but it is also intriguing, I guess is the best way to put it, because there's layers to it. You're like, there's a lot going on here with this person. Yes, and all that just to say, yeah, she's stupid good at what she does. From like the moment she comes through the curtain to when she goes back, every part of it, she's really good at it. I thought it was great that they started off this match by really talking about how both of these women have had a journey beyond being in WWE, international careers that then they are finally meeting here after both being a big deal internationally. You know, Stephanie Vaquer being signed. I don't know about Io Sky because that was a little bit before I kind of really started, ramping up my watching. Stephanie Vaquer was a huge signing. People were talking about this because she had been, on the indies and here, there, and everywhere. I really appreciated the fact that they're like, yeah, these two have been around for a while, and this is the first time they're really going head to head like this. I thought that was an excellent way, and you want to talk about big fight feel. Like this actually almost had a bigger fight feel than Lesnar, Cena, and Cody and McIntyre. Like, yeah, there is an excellent case for this being the main event, for sure, sir. Astute observation.
Thank you. And by the way, I was just as you were talking, I was checking on CageSideSeats.com, and since we just talked about it, Jey Uso is in concussion protocol after Wrestlepalooza. My Zapruder analysis of the tape was correct. Jay busted himself open. He hit Braun with the chair, and it bounced off Braun's back and split him 6 ways from Sunday. So he is in concussion protocol, which is a requirement after any injury like this. So,
one word, 8 letters.
Oh, good Lord.
Not to make light of that, Jay. I hope you're doing better and all that. But I mean, you hit yourself in the head with the chair. I'm imagining he's at least, well, once he gets his senses back, at least is going to get a chuckle out of that. Like, of all the things to take me out, I did it. Well, me and an assist from Braun's back, which you look at that dude and you're like, I can totally see a chair ricocheting off of that dude and bouncing back and hitting you. There's no give. Jeez. Oh my gosh. But anyways, this match was fracking great, and I love how they started this off. Not animosity, because again, like there's not one person chasing. There's no champion's advantage. You're fighting for a vacated title. I love the handshake to start. Lots of graps and reversals. A very nice deliberate pace to this of which befits two people who have never really wrestled before.
Mm-hmm.
I like that feeling out sort of process of trying to figure out each other. There was. It felt a little, I'm not saying to say glitchy, a little hesitant at parts, but I really feel like these two got into a rhythm. Once they'd been going for a couple minutes, you could see that I kind of felt in the match like they both were like, oh, okay, I got it now. Even though we might have talked about this and maybe even practiced a couple things, but like being in front of an audience, like, oh, okay, now we're in the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, watching these two work was freaking great. That backbreaker by EO, where it was almost like a hesitation move, and oh my gosh, I love the friggin' missile drop kick that she does coming off the ropes, kind of like that. What do they call it? Like the basement missile drop kick or whatever, where she's not coming off a top rope or whatever. She just bounces off the rope and like kind of keels haul you in the thigh to like shin region. How they don't call that sweet shin music, I don't know. That was great. Suicide dive. Dude, I love how, in a weird way, like Stephanie Vaquer got the big pop for her entrance, but then it was very pro EO. But then by the end of the match, they were like, the crowd was so into both of these women.
Yeah.
It was great to watch, kind of that, just the progression of like, oh my gosh, we're watching something that's really friggin' incredible here. That was great. Where was the... Oh my gosh. The leaping crossbody to the outside by Stephanie Vaquer, where she basically jumps up and then jumps up to the top ropes and springs off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? Like, really? That's a thing? And then she does it going the opposite way after she gets EO in the ring. Stupid good.
Lest we not forget EO's, leap to the outside, where I thought she was going to crash and burn, and she somehow knows how to control herself and pull those moves off.
She is the genius of the sky.
She is the genius of the sky, and it ends up as a clean high cross body. But my God, I thought she was going to like land on her head at one point.
Oh yeah.
So
those moves do legit make me cringe, because I'm like, again, I love to be entertained, but I also want to watch people walk back through the curtain, in reasonably good shape.
Yes.
I don't want to watch anyone get lawn darted and lose use of any limbs. The snap suplex by Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another bulldog special where I was like, and much like the short arm clothesline, I've been calling for a return of the snap suplex for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Just that, kind of the get him in position, that something about that just makes it look 10 times more vicious than a regular suplex. Of course, nobody really does regular suplexes anymore, so you could kind of get over with that if you chose that as your gimmick. I'll go one more, and then I don't know if you want to interject in your first half of the match here, but the EO pin attempt and there was an EO pin attempt, and then she transitioned right into a crossface. Dude, that was so smooth. Like, again, you're watching these two women, it's like they're so stinking good at what they do. It's ridiculous. Made a lot of actually kind of made most of the men on the show last night look like, plotting cavemen. Yeah. Anyways, I've been chatting for a while here. Go ahead and
All
save
right,
me.
so let's start with the entrance. I think Stephanie Vicaire has one of the coolest entrances, both in music and presentation, second only to Mommy Rhea Ripley.
Are you talking women's roster, or are we talking overall?
I'm talking women's roster.
Okay, because I would say yes, agree on that. I'd say she's still top 5 overall.
Vicaire?
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
That is a and just the way she kind of steps out
again, and it's all in her face too. Like she just has this death stare where you're like, I don't want to mess with you.
No. I don't know how tall she is, because I know she ain't that tall, but I'm not stepping in front of her.
No.
No.
I love the slower start to this match, with the ladies feeling each other out, a little bit. There was one point early in the match where, I don't know if you noticed this, it was very early in the match where, I forget if it was Io. I think Io started to whip Stephanie into the rope. Well, I forget who ended up in the ropes, but no, I think Io ran in the ropes and then Stephanie did, but the cameraman was way too close to them. Like you literally heard the ropes like bounce because he was like that close to them, and I'm surprised he didn't get like nailed, But I'm just like, but you saw the hesitation on both women. They were like, trying to not hit the cameraman, and he was like that close to them. It was like, dude, what are you doing?
You're getting hazard pay, right?
Basically. Honestly, the story of this match, I think, was how evenly matched they both were, because there were several sequences where one of them would do a sequence of moves and then the other would do a similar sequence of moves, and it was just this like one-upsmanship that was happening between the two of them, which I thought was a great touch.
Well, and they were trying to kind of downplay it as like Stephanie, oh, well, she's not quite ready for prime time. And I'm like, okay, are we telegraphing here, or are we trying to explain why, Io is going over?
They say that, but then Vicaire does this great arm submission over the top rope.
Yes.
Which looks super impressive. She starts to take control with some aggressiveness. She's doing, some nasty submissions, and then you have Io Sky, who does that nasty backbreaker of hers where where she gets her up like 100% like vertical and then drops her on her knee. I love how like Sky fires up. She just shows how she can get the crowd like totally engaged in the match. The suicide dive she did on the outside, I thought she was gonna like hurt herself, honestly, and then she somehow like in the air controlled her body where it turned into this like clean cross body on Vicaire, which was great. And then, man, what a nasty move by Vicaire on Io Sky's like neck and shoulders were on like the edge of the ring, and Vicaire drops a knee on it.
Yes.
And then that was followed by the high cross body you were talking about. Part of the, when I talk about the evenly matched thing, there was a sequence in the middle of the match where both of them go for what's called a meteora. I think they call it like the bullet train with Sky. It's the double knee in the corner.
Yes.
And
the bullet train attack is what they call it with Sky.
Right. But they both tried to do that move, and then they end up missing, and the other one does the German suplex on them, which was really, just funny how they kind of did that.
It makes you wonder in some ways, like how much was, and I don't want to ruin in some ways I don't want to know, but in some ways I do want to know, like how much was actually planned out, or is that in a moment, like, one of them did it and the other's like, all right, now I'm going to do it. And it's just one of those things like calling it in the ring or feeling it out. Like I always wonder about that stuff. How much is improvisation? How much is,
given, I was watching some clips with Stephanie Vicaire with Chris Van Vliet this week, and she talks about how she's still trying to get good at English, and so I wonder if there is a fair amount of them mapping the sequence of things out, because between her and Io, how are they communicating? You know what I mean? Like how are they doing? Like maybe there is a shorthand that they use or something like that. I don't know.
Or is it the opposite direction? Like with Mick Foley talked about, working with Abdullah the Butcher, where he's like, you didn't plan things out with him because one, he wouldn't remember, or no, one, he didn't like it, and two, he wouldn't remember anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you just kind of had to work that way, and if it's like, I could see that like, oh well, we have to plan it ahead because there's language barrier.
Yeah.
On the other, because let's face it, Io Sky still is working on her English.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. The fact that Stephanie Vicaire is able to speak as well as she does in English with like, I saw a clip from that same interview, like 10 months, kind of like working on her English. Like
Yep.
Anyone who's like, she should learn how to speak English. Like, dude, you took English for 12 years growing up in school and you don't know how to conjugate a damn thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and, once you learn the difference between there, and there, come back and talk. We'll have a conversation then.
Yeah.
So it's like, do they have to plan things out then? Or is it almost like, well, there's such a language barrier. We'll just kind of go in the ring and kind of vibe it. Like, I could see both of those being equally, accessible and workable.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me.
Yeah. I do love how, Vicair's, calling card with the Devil's Kiss move, gets the crowd hyped up and then they start booing when they don't get it. I thought it was really funny.
It was twice before they finally paid it off. Oh, man. I mean, the dragon screw that Vicair does on Sky, man, I don't know how you do that and not end up wrenching the knee somehow, but man, that was looking nasty both times. Oh, that is truly devastating looking.
Yeah.
That, and again, was one of those deals like great selling, but also just a great way of moving where if you seriously don't like dislocate your opponent's knee, you're a master at this.
Yep. Yep. I do love how the calling card to the Devil's Kiss though is just her staring at the camera doing the one again and just goes into it. And then Barrett's call on that was absolutely phenomenal, where he's just like, like I forget exactly what he said. It was like, someone's always like you always wanted to kiss or makes you want to kiss the devil or something like that. And Michael Cole's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Like it really felt like one of those moments where Michael Cole's like, Wade, are you with the program right now, or did you lose a sense of reality that we're in?
It was one of those times. Oh, let me look.
Because I guess Booker T goes like it went insane for that move.
Yes,
when she was in NXT, and apparently Wade was trying to play off of that. But I heard that too, and I'm like, Wade.
So, have you ever seen the movie Best in Show?
I have not. No.
Oh my god!
I know.
You need to see that movie.
Okay, calm down. You hadn't seen Interstellar before
you need
a couple
to see
weeks
that
ago.
Movie.
Relax.
You need to see that movie. All right. So in Best in Show, it's about basically dog shows. And Fred Willard. You familiar with Fred Willard?
I probably am. I can't place the face to the name right now, but it sounds familiar. Yes.
He's a comedian who is paired up with this other guy. The actor's name is Jim Piddock, but if you saw him, you would probably have seen him in other shows before. But they are both like the commentators to this dog show.
Okay.
And so the whole exchange between Barrett and Michael Cole was very reminiscent of the scenes at the end of the movie, because it all builds up to this national show where these dogs are paraded out, and it's all about the dogs and the owners are like crazy and stuff.
And the whole movie's improv.
And Fred Willard is absolutely hysterical. Like,
oh wait, I know who he is. Yeah, and he was in How High. He played the dean of the college.
Yes, and so like they're going through some of these dogs being shown, and the one actor, Jim Piddock, is playing the straight guy. Like, he is talking about the show and what's going on and why it's happening and stuff. And then you got Fred Willard as the color commentator, who looks over and is like, "How much do you think I can bench press?" Like, just out of nowhere. Come on, yes. I think you could do a 200 pounds. Like, that's what I felt like Barrett and Colt were like. It's just like so out there. Barrett is just like, oh, everyone wants to have a devil's kiss or kiss the devil or something like that. And Colt's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Wade?
Down, boy.
Aren't you a married man?
No kidding. Oh my God, that was awesome. You want me to keep going to the end of the match, or do you want to jump in?
What did you think about that top rope Spanish fly?
Oh, that was incredible. I very much was like, holy crap. That was
Io kicking out of the was it the Stephanie Vicker bomb?
Yeah, the SVB. Yep.
That was great.
The Frankensteiner by Sky on Vicair into a pin was very cool. That was amazing. What else? Oh, I really love the whole idea of Io's got her, she's had her knee wrenched a couple times, but she goes and drops the knee pads,
which feels like a very heelish sort of move, because we're face versus face here, because Stephanie has had no heelish tendencies, and Io is they're both crowd favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are we planting seeds here, or are we doing like we are with Cody Rhodes, where we keep planting seeds, and I don't think we're ever going to see this mofo grow.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was very interesting, and then to have it backfire, was even better. Like that was a great little mini story to kind of tie this thing up.
Yeah, for Sky to go and do a moonsault and miss it, and her knees hit the mat, and she's writhing around in pain.
Which one of them is weakened from the 2 dragon screws earlier? Like that was such great storytelling.
And then you have Vicaire doing holy shiznit is what that move should be called, because I had to watch it a couple times. Like, how on earth did physics allow you to do that? She starts out facing one way and ends up facing the other way, and I don't know how she landed it, but she did, and now she's the champ.
So a spiral tap, or a variation of the spiral tap?
Yes, variation of what is called a spiral tap.
Which is basically what? Is it like a corkscrew moonsault kind of
basically,
thing?
Yeah. It was insane to watch. Like, and it made such a great clip, which, by the way, is on ESPN's main page, by the way.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. And such a tribute to her, but also like, I mean, that one kind of winds up being mostly on her, but so much of this match is like these two women essentially just working so well together. Holy hell.
Yep.
Stephanie Vicaire wins and then goes to ringside and hugs her dad.
Before that, though, I love the show of respect between her and Sky.
Yes, that was great. Because
you don't see that very often. I mean, that works because you don't see it very often.
Yes, correct.
And they are two of the right characters to do that with, because they're both baby faces in a way. And, Sky has built up a lot of great will with the fans. Vicaire is a fan favorite. And it was good. And it wasn't just Vicaire, shook her hand. It was Vicaire, showing culturally the respect, to EO and vice versa. And I thought it was great. I thought it was a nice touch to the end of the match. And, it works because you don't see that often. And when they do it with the right set of players. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. And not two people who just came out of NXT,
right.
And who had been training at the Performance Center. Like, these are two people who have been around, Io Sky in the WWE now for a few years, but then before that in indies and stuff. Stephanie Vicaire, like, wrestling since her teens, and now I think she's 32. And now getting kind of this shot on the big stage, like, to get someone to have that moment and then to give respect to their opponent, like, and in a way, it's almost a testament or kind of like that code. We made the joke before. There's a code between guys who shook Sinatra's hand. Like, there's a code between two people who have traveled as much, and fought their way to the top, not fighting necessarily in a legit fight, but in working hard and really advocating for yourself and promoting yourself and trying to get to that next level.
Yes.
Two people, and then to do it in the United States on a US promotion with a predominantly English-speaking crowd, two people who English is not their first language and who are still very much working to be able to do promos in English, to be this over with a crowd.
Yep.
You gotta be special, dude. Gotta be. I have actually not scrolled down in senior ranking, but I want to go first. 4.5 stars.
Wow, you went 4.5. I went 4.25.
Match of the night.
Yeah, it was 100%. It was the top match, hands down. Very, very, very fun, very enjoyable, and I went back and forth on going 4.5 or 4.25. There were some spots that I was kind of like were a little clunky, but I mean, it's really nitpicking at that point. I mean, it was an amazing match that told a great story. And
well, once you get over 4 stars, dude, at that point, it's like it's just how jazzed you were for it, and then hey, there's no wrong answer at that point. You've done good.
Yep.
And just to finish my thought, like Stephanie going over to her dad, the dad raising the belt.
That was
and
cool.
then the hug afterwards. I'm like, frack, it's getting dusty in here. I didn't plan on crying on my couch tonight, but son of a bitch, here we are.
Nice.
Yeah. No, great match.
Very cool.
Which
Very
then
cool
brings
match.
us to the semi-main event of our mixed tag match. We got Seth and Becky versus Punk and Lee. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk, Charles Montgomery Punk, and AJ Lee, which I don't have a great... and Antoinette Jane Lee, I guess. Well, maybe. I don't know. My first comment, and I want to get this out before you have anything to say, to get your impression. The way that I would describe, and granted, again, I'm much in favor of tag teams being of a unified look, of a unified music, of a unified sort of thing, and I get that Seth and Beck are not a regular tag team. I appreciate them going through the steps of unifying the music in what I felt as a musician was actually a way that made sense musically. The transition between the two felt very natural. I'm also happy that we didn't have to hear the frickin' oh forever. And honestly, it actually got them over as heels because they weren't, the crowd was not singing my song. Freaking. The way that Becky and Seth were dressed, the best way I can describe it is tactical grimace.
Okay, you know what I wrote?
What?
Good to see Becky and Seth dressed as Marvel's Watchers. That is the first thing I thought of when I saw them standing up on that stage was, oh, it looks like they're Marvel fans and they're dressed as the Watcher.
You know, there's no wrong answers here. Here's to you, sir. That's a good one. I almost like that one better than mine. I thought Tactical Grimace was pretty damn good.
And yours is good too. Tactical Grimace is very good, but I just felt like it was just, where they were starting from high, like up on high. I'm like, wow, they kind of look like the Watchers a little bit.
Oh yeah, and that was the other thing. Like up on this platform, I'm like, how funny would it be if that platform suddenly malfunctioned? They couldn't get down.
Oh, good Lord. My second comment,
it would be a total Spinal Tap moment.
My second comment is this, and this is how I wrote it.
Yes.
Triple H must have listened to our last episode and placated Uncle Todd with Seth and Becky coming down to both their entrance themes, because you were very, very unhappy by the fact that they came down separately to their own entrances, and someone listened to us and have now answered the call.
Correct.
Because not just them, but also CM Punk and AJ Lee came down together.
Here's the thing. Normally I would be very against the CM Punk AJ Lee entrance as it was, because it is the mashing of the two in a very sort of odd way. However, what I will say is I give them credit for doing it at a point when I was like, it would be cool if.
Okay.
Because I was waiting for in one way I was like, okay, of course they're going to come out to Cult of Personality, because that always gets a huge pop. And then it's only Punk coming out. I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it this way, you better motherfracking do this right after he does It's Clopper Time and then Light It Up. And they did it about as well as you could in the instance of like live splicing that. I was like, damn it, I'll allow it.
All right.
Because even though I normally hate that, and I hated it when Jade and son of a mother,
Jade and
EST, no EST, Bianca. Sorry, I'm sorry, Bianca. I should remember that. I didn't like when they would do their mishmash of entrance musics. This one I felt like at least they did it at a natural point in the shtick that it kind of made sense. And then the fact that you have Punk just so over for like, look at my wife, everyone. Isn't she awesome? And just
I love the AJ's husband jacket. I thought that was a great touch.
So great. I again, like, I love how you said it. Like, just Punk is just trying to give her flowers.
Yes.
Over and over, and has been since he came back like one of his first in-ring promos, he was like, "Oh, and AJ says hi."
Yep.
I was like, that is just really cool to see, especially, and not to get too into current events, but it's nice to see in a world where people can be jerks to them seeing like not just their spouse, but here, let me just look at this person. They're awesome. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just a nice thing to see for me.
Yep.
This was a very interesting. I don't think I've watched a mixed tag match in forever. So the whole rules of like, you know, once a person of a different gender has been tagged in, then the other person of the same gender must be tagged in. Because I was kind of wondering how that was going to work. I'm like, are we going to see like, you know, Punk deliver a GTS to Bex? Like, okay, this might be over quick. That was interesting. How are you feeling about the kind of the rules and the way that we kind of got into the beginning of this match? Because there was a bit of shenanigans, shall we say?
Yeah, no, I think it was a great. I appreciated the story they were, you know, kind of telling, and the fact that the, you know, part of what was helping amp up the crowd to hate Seth and Becky was their manipulation of that fact that they were, you know, Seth would start out, he would tag in Becky, so Punk would go and tag in AJ, and then Becky would tag in Seth, you know, and it was just like this cat and mouse sort of situation that was happening, that caused, you know, frustration for our heroes and frustration for the fans who wanted to see AJ Lee get, you know, some ring time and some, you know, shots in on Becky. And so I thought they did a great job of holding that off. You know, it was great to see, you know, Punk playing the, you know, babyface in peril sort of role. You know, he you know, with Rollins and Lynch kind of, you know, grinding him down in a way, like, you know, Lynch getting shots in on him, Rollins getting shots in on him.
Playing the Robert Gibson role for once.
The Robert Gibson role. I loved how.
Oh, actually, can I just interrupt for 1 second? Because I saw this on Instagram the other day, and I thought it was great.
Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
So Sandman was talking about a hardcore hack. Apparently tag team with Jim Duggan at one point. And at one point someone was like, they're going to put the straps on you. And he's like, I guess Jim Duggan came to Hack and was like, they're going to put the tag straps on us. It's like, and Sandman turns and was like, who's going to work? It's going to be the worst hot tag ever. He's like, who's actually going to come in and work on this thing? And the guy next to him is like, it'll be 2 Roberts and no Ricky. Sandman actually lost. He's like, I've never heard that before, but that's great.
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing CM Punk play Robert Gibson instead of Ricky Morton.
And there was a point in the match where Punk goes to tag AJ Lee in, and you think he's about to do it, and all of a sudden Becky, who was on the outside, grabs AJ, and she falls face first on the side of the ring, and so she's out for a little bit. So they just did a great job of teasing, you know, creating that tension of the heroes trying to get something going. And I loved Barrett's call on Punk, just saying, you know, can you imagine, Cole, if Punk, you know, ends up being in this whole match and loses, what the car ride back to Chicago is going to be like with AJ Lee? I think he's going to need to buy her some flowers. I thought that was phenomenal. That was just such a great, you know, point of, you know, what sort of just the awkwardness of that scenario was just great.
I also like the fact that
we called that out.
The fact that they pointed out, like, Becky and Seth have tagged together, AJ Lee and Punk, because I didn't realize that, again, because I've massive swaths of WWE history have flown under my radar.
Yes.
That was kind of interesting that they were both undefeated in mixed tags. So it's like something's got to give here. I thought it was interesting the moment when the way I wrote it was Punk hits Seth so hard the commentary feed turned Spanish when he knocked him over the Spanish announce table, and you obviously the mic's right there, start picking up the Spanish feed as the commentators are right next to this camera and the mics.
Yes.
It was weird though, because at the time, like Cole and Barrett were silent. So it was like, wow, he hit him so hard, we swapped into a different locale. Like all of a sudden we're broadcasting from Mexico City now. It's like,
yep.
That's it was amusing to me. Granted, I had a couple of Flocktoberfest at that point, so it might not be that amusing.
Indeed.
I will say this though, Beck's offense, which looks weak already, looks really weak when it's on Punk.
Okay. All right.
Anyways.
Let me see.
But I agree, the shenanigans and everything else did lots to get heat, like old school cheap heat on Bex and Rollins, which was good to see. It's warmed my, kind of 1980s, Bret Hitman Hart, Big Boss Man, Hulk Hogan watching, WWF Hart.
Yep. Let me see. What else do I have here? Punk and Rollins trading double X. Double X handles were a big thing in the beginning of this match, which was kind of interesting.
I love how old school like Punk's offense really is when you get down to it. Like he does a lot of moves that nobody else does.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. It does set him apart.
Yep. Loved Punk and Rollins trading back and forth on blocking suplexes and then Punk finally landing the suplex. Let's see. Rollins. I love this whole thing where Rollins tries to use Lynch as a weapon, pressing her over his head and then throwing her. And Punk rolls away, and then just the horrified look on his face when she lands with no one there.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was a great.
Well, what about the unseen tag to Lee?
Yes, and then she has to go back because the ref didn't see it.
Well, but then that's
great heel. That is great heel tag team work right there.
It is great, but then the inconsistency later of like then Becky just kind of wanders in the ring and starts doing whatever she wants, and Jessica Carr is like, I'm like, okay, I get it. We accept that referees like are docked like 50 IQ points once they step into the ring.
Yes.
Well, come on, you're not LA Knight. Let's try and at least pretend like you're going to hold back Becky Lynch. I'm just saying. Would have been a nice touch.
Great hot tag to Lee into the Luthez press. Great, fire offense from Lee on Lynch. And then I wrote, holy crap, tornado DDT off of Rollins to Lynch by Lee. And then that goes into a sliced bread on Rollins with a Punk assist.
Yeah, with a little like the leg up. Like
that was phenomenal how they did that. That was
10 out
phenomenal.
of 10. No notes.
And it wasn't even just a sliced bread on Rollins. It was into a pin attempt on Lynch. So after she hits the move, it's like she throws Lynch into a pin. I thought that was great.
No, that was terrific.
The synchronized knee into Bulldog by Punk and Lee was great. And then, they did a nice touch with Lynch and Lee, both trying submissions into pinfalls on each other.
Yep.
The Black Widow, I forgot that maneuver that she used to do. That thing looks freaking nasty. I like that.
It does, but at the same time, it's almost like one of those things like where you're like, why don't you just fall backwards and land on your opponent? Wouldn't that break the hold?
Because you're in pain, my friend. You're in pain.
Okay, but if you're in pain, wouldn't falling backwards help?
Are you thinking when you're in pain?
Sometimes
you're saying this is a rational human who is not in pain. When you're in pain, you may not be thinking about falling backwards.
Well, granted, I know I'm talking in real world logic as opposed to wrestling logic. Oh, you just wanted to get to that. I get it. All right, fine. I can't argue with that. Then we get oh my gosh. I will say this. Becky going into a sharpshooter.
Yes.
Somewhere Dwayne Johnson was like, finally, I'm off the hook for the worst looking sharpshooter in history. And Punk's wasn't much better. Don't get me wrong. Punk's wasn't great. But at the same time,
at one point he supposed to put Rollins in it, and Rollins has to help him with the legs, a la Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. It's just like, good God.
Yeah.
Know the leg sequence when you're going to do that,
It was a little on the rough side, shall we say.
It was.
Man, I love, and this is again, talking about my comment from earlier, finish spam, close 2 count. I have no idea what happened there. I just know that everybody was doing their finishers and someone got a 2 count. I got no idea.
Was that the sequence? So I have it written down. There was a sequence where Rollins curb stomps Punk, then Lee curb stomps Rollins.
Yes.
was great into a manhandle slam on Lee. So Punk gets curb stomped by Rollins. AJ Lee curb stomps Rollins. So both of the men are out.
Okay.
And then Lynch gets Lee in the manhandle slam into a pin attempt. I think that's what you're talking about.
It very well might have been.
I mean, it was really cool because Rollins does the curb stomp. He goes into a pin. He gets a 2 count, and then AJ Lee essentially breaks the count by curb stomping Rollins, and then Rollins and Punk just kind of powder out.
Yeah.
I love the whole sequence where both where the men are brawling in the middle of the ring. The ladies separate them. Then the ladies go and brawl in the middle of the ring, and the men come back and brawl next to them in the ring.
That was great. That was great.
Phenomenal.
Especially where AJ Lee is like, I got this.
Yes.
And you think like there's going to be some sort of technical aspect to this. She just goes punching the crap out of Becky. And I'm like, all right, fine. That works. Again, like these are things that could be completely stupid in the context of any other match. But because they have done the work, and I give Becky Lynch kind of crap about her offense and stuff like that. The reason why she's still a star at this point, and why she can come back any number of times, is because she knows how to work the crowd, not necessarily because she knows how to work a punch. Like she has a certain amount of cachet built with the crowd, and is able to work their emotions, and that's what they were doing. Some of the reason why Punk can get an axe handle, off the top rope and a friggin' bulldog over, when those are moves that were like 1983, is because he knows how to do them and when to do them, and his character is what's carrying all that. And I wish that more people would do that. And it's kind of, again, I'm verging into Uncle Corny territory, where it's like you don't have to do all the acrobatics. If you know how to get people's emotions to a certain point, do these things, and then you don't have to destroy yourself completely.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of stuff that in some other matches might have looked hokey had me going right along with this. I was fascinated by this match.
I love how when they go outside the ring and they start clearing off the tables, Punk, you can hear him just say, "She's the boss."
Yes.
I thought it was great.
Because she does it first, and she's like swiping stuff off. Like she means it. And Punk's like, all right, this is what we're doing now. Okay.
Yep.
And then AJ is thrown into Punk and Seth by Becky.
Yes.
Like hurled.
Yes. The
table collapses. And it's one of those moments when, again, I mentioned Punk breaking kind of kayfabe, doing the "you still got it" clap along in the wide shot, which I'm wondering if Triple H did Triple H chastise him when he came back, or was like, listen, I know you're just having fun, and damn it was funny to me too, but can we just only do that at house shows?
Yeah.
I
didn't notice it, so I mean, maybe the eagle-eyed fan like yourself, sir, but I
had noticed it because he'd done that at other. I'd seen clips of him doing that at house shows and stuff. He had been in a tag match or something with Jey Uso, and everyone's yeeting, and he's supposed to be knocked out on the side, and he's laying down there just.
Yep.
So I kind of, in a way, I was looking for it. But I'm okay with the fact that even though he was, wiped out, his first instinct is he dives over and checks on his wife before the ref or anyone else can. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like that, it's a thing that I would be like, that's instinctual. Like, even though, from the storyline perspective, I should be out cold, but no, I'm going to check on my wife, who hasn't been doing this in a decade, and make sure she's all right.
Yep.
And then he goes back to being out cold. I'm like, cool, whatever.
Yep.
And I love how the rest of the commentary collapses, and there's one leg that's just like, nope, screw it, I'm staying here.
Yep.
Standing strong.
And then great finish at the end with the Black Widow on Lynch by Lee.
Yeah, out of the manhandle slam attempt.
Yes.
Well, nice reversal.
Yes.
She still got it. What can you say?
So it shows that if they were to face off in a title match, I think Becky's ability to put her away easily is in question.
Yes.
So my star rating for this, sir, I'm going to jump ahead here, is 4-0. I gave this 4 stars. This was a entertaining, fun match. A lot of great action in it. Quite honestly, I would say either this or the Vaquer Sky match should have been the main event, because both of them had a very satisfactory ending at the end. And both matches I felt were main event worthy, to be honest.
Yes.
These were both very entertaining matches. Great story behind. I mean, there wasn't as much of a story behind Vaquer and Sky, but I think what made up for that was the mutual respect. Like they were able to create a story in the match that I thought was compelling, even though there wasn't a story outside of the match that led to it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a vacated title, so you get a little bit of a pass, because then it just has to be two people who are really good.
Right, but I think the fact it was mutual respect, and then that they were equally matched, and then led to the knee. I mean, it reminded me a lot of like like Bret Hart's matches in the 90s. Like, he used to tell all of his title matches told a story, and it wasn't just a title match. It was a story of, he was wearing a body part down, or he was doing this or doing that, and it just. There was a story involved in it, and that's what I felt Vaquer and Sky was. And then in this one with the mixed tag, there was just a, there was just that. This was really about AJ Lee's coming back, but at the same time, it was also about, both couples. You have one couple claiming to be the bar for everyone else, and then you have the other couple who is pursuing them, and just the fact that they were just kind of both balancing each other out and meeting each other move for move, and it was very entertaining that way. So just a great story behind that match. Not as much of a story behind the other match, but both of them were just very entertaining. Could have been main event.
Yes, totally. I'll go with you. 4 stars.
Yep.
And this is where I will, the rare occasion where I actually liked a match, that I will implement my feels like rating. This felt like 6 stars. When you
Jeez,
when you consider the constraints of a mixed tag match.
Sure.
Because there are constraints, there's also benefits to that. There's ways, and they did a great job of playing off of the strategy of like, well, one, the lady comes in, then the other lady's got to come in, like utilizing that unique feature of this match. They did a great job of that. But then when you consider, like, AJ Lee is 10 years off the game here, and coming in and looking really good. And the fact that, you have this disparity of, the men's offense and having to somewhat incorporate interaction between the men and the women. They did all of that really well and put it over great. So, I'll give it 4 straight up. And then it felt like even better than that when you consider the other factors. And the note I had at the end was just watching Punk put over his wife after the match is just awesome. And at one point, like, AJ Lee is up on the second turnbuckle playing to the crowd, and Punk, the friggin' Punk that he is, just staring straight at her butt.
Yes.
And then doing the whole, oh, sorry, I got hypnotized for a minute. I'm like, go ahead and, just set the bar a little higher for the rest of us. You get to do this on, national TV and PLEs and stuff. The rest of us got to buy flowers because we don't have that opportunity. But no, again, that was just heartwarming, watching him just be, so friggin', such a mark for his wife was great.
Yep. All right. Shall we move on to the main event?
Well, we do have one bit of business here where
the
I
Undertaker
noted
Stephanie bit.
Yeah, I my note was, man, I was really hoping to make it a Kid Rock free year, but apparently that's not going to happen. It's sort of like a Whamageddon, where you try to get through the Christmas season, and damn it, I'm done. Wow, that took a long time to kind of get where it was going, didn't it? Although I do appreciate the vague hint at Taker once crucifying Stephanie. As we've had some history, and she's like, dear God, please do not put that on live television right now. Like, yes, we've had some history. And But yeah, so we have Stephanie McMahon.
For the Whamageddon, do you want me to do this in the walk-in style, the lyrics?
No.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
I'm good with that. I was hoping you weren't going to do American Badass.
No, I wasn't
take
going to
this.
do that.
Go right
Oh,
ahead.
although that is one I could do. You're right. Thank you for reminding me. Next episode, sir. Next episode.
Anyways, Stephanie McMahon is going to be
Last
your headliner.
Christmas, I gave you my heart. Oh, sorry. All right, go ahead.
I feel that will be best. Sean Connery. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Money penny.
Yeah, money penny. So Steph is our lead inductee into the 2026 Hall of Fame and is going to be our headliner because usually that's the first person, and deserved. Fine, I'm good with that. Again, it was funny. Again, watching Taker out there after probably having a few Miller Lights or whatever, Jack Daniels, whatever he prefers, and then hopping the barrier. You could tell it was very kind of weird. Like you could tell Stephanie, even if Stephanie had been prepped on what exactly what was going to happen, she was sort of like, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
So that was, in a way, it was weird for me at first, but in retrospect, after watching the whole segment, I'm like, okay, it was kind of charming. Fine. Again, I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
Which then brings us to our main event, unless you have some comments on the interaction between Steph and Taker.
I just thought it was great to see the two of them banter and laugh. There was just a joy between the two of them, and I thought it was very cool.
Yeah.
I did not pick up on Undertaker being a bit lit, but apparently you seem to think he was.
So. I think he was very relaxed.
Oh, he was in his element,
He was extraordinarily relaxed.
Okay.
Maybe he'd been hanging back with the Godfather beforehand,
All right.
Light up a few, for that Pimp Daddy, and just saying,
easy.
Maybe Michelle wasn't around, so he was like, I'm going to cut loose with the BSK. Which then brings us to main event for the WWE Undisputed Championship, which always makes me wonder if it's undisputed, why are we fighting? Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. My first thought is when they were announcing Cody Rhodes coming out, that this is his first title defense since SummerSlam, I was like, who does he think he is? Roman Reigns? It's been a little while.
Because they're both in the same movie that they're shooting right now.
Oh, they're shooting a movie together?
Yes, not together. So Cody disappeared because he is playing the character Guile in the Street Fighter live action movie.
Oh yeah, he was just in the Naked Gun remake too.
And Roman Reigns is also playing a role in that movie.
Really?
Yes, indeed. But they're not filming together at the same time, apparently. So,
well, they don't get along, as we all know.
Yeah,
kayfabe being what it is.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. My notes are getting really shaky at this point. You want to start off with this so I can decipher?
In what I think is an indication of how this match was going to go, the entrances for both of these individuals was pretty standard. Pretty standard entrance. Nothing flashy about it.
Yeah.
Cody aggressive to start. I love how Barrett makes a great point about how these two were both basically jokes in the industry 10 years ago.
Yes,
which was a very astute point, and they both had to leave WWE, go elsewhere, and then come back and became bigger, based on that. One thing I found strange that I didn't pick up on, I did see some of the clips from SmackDown where Rhodes and Drew got into a bit of a kerfluffle, but I didn't pick up on the fact that Rhodes was suffering. Now, Barrett kept saying, Rhodes was suffering from mental issues, where it was more about, I think there was some, they're trying to play up, which was really strange to me, given CTE and everything else, why you would be playing up head trauma, because if that was the case, then shouldn't he be in concussion protocol?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, kayfabe 2.0, I'd say we're in right now. Or are we in kayfabe 3.0 at this point? Because would you count Attitude Era as 2.0?
Maybe.
And now we're kind of in this social media is kayfabe, and is anything real? but unless it's I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is questionable, but at the same time,
So I appreciated their working that into the match, that Cody was still, struggling with the after effects of those attacks and that sort of thing. But I think what really harmed this match was because Cody was away for the, month or so, and they wrote that off as being part of the injury that Drew caused. It really, in my mind, at least, it really kind of took away from the match. Like I didn't feel like there was as much of a story here, and so I was trying to understand, like, I get Drew wanting to reclaim the championship. I get, he's jealous of Cody, or he's wanting to, take what Cody has and embarrass him and whatnot. But, for Cody, like there was something lacking in the depth of the story that impacted the match, believe it or not. And the match was a, it was a reasonable match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just, I didn't feel any stakes to the match, if Drew wins, that's a little bit of a shocker to me. Like, what do you do with Cody after that? But then,
but
Cody,
did you ever legit feel he was gonna win?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
It was Cody's first title defense. I mean, I didn't think he was going to lose in his first title defense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to go for there. I mean, McIntyre looked very strong throughout much of the match. Cody looked like he was, wounded in a way, with his head issues. I thought it was it was a great visual with McIntyre smacking Cody, doing that he smacked Rhodes around a lot, and then, nasty Alabama slam on the stairs, I thought was a nasty little.
And I love the Bob Holly call out.
Yes.
Somewhere Bob Holly is proud. I'm like,
indeed. Nice superplex from the top by Rhodes.
Ooh, actually, here's a thought.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be great if somehow we could work Bob Holly into the last, run here with Brock Lesnar? Like, have him as a run-in. Like, it would be a deep cut, but there's a lot of 90s folks like us that would be like,
could be.
Yes.
Could
Especially, like, you broke my neck, you son of a bitch.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yep. No, fair enough. Let's see. Great sequence ending with a power slam. Story of the match with, I really feel like the story through most of this match was Rhodes dealing with the head trauma. McIntyre with a great, kind of out of the crossroads by using a knee to the head. Surprised more people don't do that. And then nasty white noise by McIntyre from the top. That was a nasty looking move.
That was pretty good. Although the thing with that move is, like, even when Sheamus does it, it just takes. It's one of those moves that it looks great when it finally happens, but it feels like it takes so long to set up.
Yes.
That it takes a little bit off of it. But I mean, it still looks good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it, but it's one of those things where I'm like, it's too bad there's not a better way to do that. But I guess, like, when you factor into the idea of, like, I'm going to put this person on my back and crawl up, there's a certain amount of preparation necessary.
Yeah. Let's see. Rhodes with two great counters to the Claymore, which I thought was good. One was, stepping back. The other was, I don't know if it was stepping to the side or just kind of blocking it, but you don't normally see the Claymore get defended against, so I thought it was kind of interesting to see him do that.
And almost in a Samoa Joe sort of like just walk away.
Yeah.
Sort of way.
Well, I mean, he didn't walk away with, like, no care. I mean,
but
he just got out of the way of it.
It's one of those things where it's like, but it is one of those deals where it's like, well, why don't more people do that instead of, like, just standing there? Why
but Samoa Joe just kind of takes a walk. He's just like, whatever.
Yes.
That's not what Cody did. So.
But it's the closest I could come to it as far as a defense. It wasn't a true counter. It was just him, like, going, whoa, sort of thing.
Yeah. What else? And then in the latter half of the match, the story was about the referee, being out of position for McIntyre, but in position for Rhodes. Now, McIntyre did hit the Claymore. That led to a near fall. That was kind of irritating to me.
Did you see I don't know if it was that Claymore you're talking about, but there was one Claymore that he hit on Cody. I don't know if there was multiple, but there was one that Cody did, like, the full 360 sell on.
That's the one. That the
was
near
a
fall.
hell of a sell, dude.
That's the near fall, though. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
When you do something like that, like that's not a near fall. That's your done, you know?
Yes, it should be.
So it should be. So that was irritating to me. Nice callback to the injury that put Rhodes on the shelf for a few weeks by, McIntyre going for that kick against the table. But this time Cody moves out of the way. And so McIntyre goes through the bottom of the table and then acts like his, leg is like destroyed, which was a cool. I mean, it's the consequences for what you're doing. You're trying to nail a guy and the guy moves and it's like, oh crap, now my leg takes the brunt of it. So
yeah, although the way that screen moved out of the way, again, like I get maybe it's like
they doctor those tables. Those tables.
It's also like a Gen X thing where like you think of like a TV. I think of a TV as like the old CRT, like. When you had a 27-inch TV back in the day, like that sumbitch was friggin' heavy. Yep. Now you have a 27-inch TV. It's a flat screen. You just like pick it up with like two fingers, like,
yep.
There's nothing to it. So that flat screen, I'm like, oh, he kicked a TV. Oh, wait a minute. It's not a TV anymore. It's just a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as devastating as we would once think. But yeah, no, it got the job done. And then his collapse on the Claymore attempt, I thought was a nice touch.
That was selling the injury. Before we get to the end, one thing I want to call out is the Glasgow kiss, that headbutt. He does so well, and it looks so devastating. So yeah, I really appreciated that.
I think it's the hair too. Like the long hair really helps with that, kind of disguise the lack of contact.
Yep.
Yep,
absolutely. And let's see what else. The super cutter into Crossroads was honestly not how I thought it was going to end. I just was like, wow, that was it. Like there was to me, the match was serviceable, but there just wasn't like juice to it, And so I was kind of like, what's the juice, know? And that's what I was, kind of struggling with a little bit. So I don't know how you rated this, sir. And certainly if there's anything I missed, let's have you comment on it. But I gave this 3.25 stars. This was a above average match, but it was not in the 4 to 5 range in my book. This was a 3 to 4 range, and I thought on the lower end of that. And I think what really affected it was the story.
I gave it 3.5 stars, and even that I struggle with because again, like there was no doubt that Cody was going over. There's no way they're going to take the belt off him right now. Like there was no credible build to this. This is, if anything, this is either a placeholder for Cody and Drew to then be like, okay, now we're going to spring you off, or we're going to kind of move into War Games or something like whatever. Because we do have Crown Jewel in Perth, and then we have War Games, I believe, or our Survivor Series, the next two PLEs.
Well, and
a Saturday night's main event, I think, too, because you can't have enough of this crap.
And the other part of the story of this match was either referee incompetence or referee interference, and Barrett played this up a lot. The referee got in the middle of McIntyre potentially booting Cody through the table, and Barrett correctly pointed out and said, "Why is the referee getting involved? This is a match. Let it play out." And so. I think there is a door open that McIntyre can make a case that there was a ref involved that shouldn't have been, and I deserve another shot, and you're not done with me yet, Cody. And so it turns into something, more, whether it's no holds barred or something else. But I think it opens a door for another match that, I think hopefully, with Cody being present, I hope they would try to build a little bit more story into it.
Well, now keep in mind
what we got on this one. So
keep in mind that for the next PLE, like Cody and Seth are busy because this Crown Jewel, we've got the Crown Jewel Championship, so we know that Seth and Cody are going to face each other.
Yes.
So whatever those two, are aiming towards, the storylines around them, either there's going to be some interference, which could be, or we're putting a pause on that for Survivor Series, which could work out well. It could allow for a little, a little simmering of the stew, which, at this point,
maybe McIntyre is what cost Rhodes the match against Rollins. Like
maybe
because to me at Crown Jewel, this is Rollins' year. Rollins has to come out on top as the crown jewel winner. Cody's already won it, so he doesn't lose anything.
The other part of this is like, I agree. Like it's a nothing championship, which makes it all that much easier for Cody to lose it. Because who actually gives a damn?
Right,
you know?
but the story could be improved upon if McIntyre inserts himself in and costs Cody the match, because now Cody's got fire in his belly to go back and get some vengeance on McIntyre.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest question in terms of Crown Jewel is basically how are we going to get Rhea Ripley placed highly up in the card? That's the biggest question right now. Because, good God, if you don't have her, if she weren't on the card at all, Perth riots, ladies and gentlemen. Perth will burn. Yep. It was a good match, but the outcome was never in doubt. 3.5.
Oh, so you weren't that far off from me.
No, but I mean,
you acted surprised by my ratings.
Well, I honestly, I was expecting you to rate it a little bit lower. Because
I couldn't go below 3. I mean, it like they executed.
It was good.
Executed,
it was from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah,
and everything going over. It was a good match, but it was one of those things where I'm like, I know, it's almost like watching an old football game.
Yeah,
you're like, I know how this ends.
Yes, and that kind of a match belongs in the middle of the card, not at the main event.
True, but it's a championship match, so that's where we're at.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, no, Cody wins, and all is right with the world, I guess, at the moment.
Indeed.
So yeah. And there you have it. Now,
so
something
Free Range Idiocy fans, what do you want to talk about for another 30 minutes so we make this an even 3?
Oh, jeez, let's not do that.
I'm kidding.
If you had to give this a grade, and let's not go all Brian Zane here, but if you had to give this an overall grade, what would you give it? And I know I'm putting you on the spot here because we didn't discuss this previously.
No, I mean, I think given the ratings we gave this, everything was above average. We had 2 matches that were in the 4 to 5 range. So honestly, I'd probably go B+ on this. I think it was I think it was a good event. I think, one thing I read today that I agree with is I did see some articles or some, press about how they're trying to turn this Wrestlepalooza concept into maybe like another WrestleMania, event. This did not hit that mark for me at all.
No, not at all.
And in some ways, the main event was, a bit of a disappointment when you consider the fact that they're debuting on ESPN. I figured there would have been something with a little more juice. Quite honestly, when we took a break a little bit ago, I pulled up on ESPN just to see what they had on the main page for, and I mean, it's buried further down because we have a bunch of NFL coverage today, but but Vaquer's move on Sky to win the belt is one of those clips. And when I watch that again and you see the crowd, I'm like, that's what you want in your main event. Like, that's what you make, that's what the main event is, because you get the people out of their seats, you get them excited. And those two did a phenomenal job in that match. It was either that or it was the mixed tag, because the mixed tag also had people, standing up out of their seats. So I don't give this like in the A range, because I think it needed a little more juice across the card than what we got. But I think we got some really good matches, and everything across the board was, definitely above average. So I'm going to go like a B+ on this one. What about you?
I don't want to give it a C. Man, I'm tempted to go with the C+.
But it doesn't match your ratings because I guess you had one rating that was below average, right?
Yes.
2.0? Okay.
And because I believe the main event, even though I'm rating it a 3.5, like, damn, you want your main event to be a lot closer to 4 than that. Like, this is the culmination of the thing, man. This is the blow off. This is the climax of the evening.
Alrighty then.
You want people to enjoy that. Anyways, I feel like just saying it's a good match, yeah, but it's not a good match it's not a really good match for a main event. I don't want to go totally heel on this. I'll go B-. And I feel like I'm being generous because it really feels like a C+ to me. Screw it. I'll give it a C+. It's above average, but it's not that great. And I've seen people describe it as a glorified Saturday Night's Main Event, and I'm tempted to somewhat agree.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it should have been the mixed tag or Io Sky, Stephanie Vaquer as the main event. However, I don't think the women's championship makes the main event based on the booking philosophy or what you see before that. Seeing those two in the ring together and seeing just how over the crowd was for both of them, and seeing like, oh, so this works together. Like neither one of them lose any heat whatsoever by being in the ring against the other.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a bit of a thing where you kind of learn that in the moment.
Mm.
You know, I'm not gonna take away from anyone on that to be like, oh shit, we didn't realize this was going to be kind of this thing. Okay, the mixed tag though, like you should have known this was probably the thing, but it didn't end up as a main, and I understand that in a weird way. It would have been totally antithetical to CM Punk for the champion to not be in the main event.
Sure.
So there would have been a bit of irony that people would have played off of that as well. So, you know, it is what it is what it is what it is. So I get it. However, I do feel like for the amount of hype and everything else and the tragic name for this thing. Dear God, they were trying to make it another WrestleMania with Wrestlepalooza. I'm like, seriously? Is someone having that much 90s nostalgia for the first couple Lollapalooza tours? Like they think this is hip? Like, awesome. Yeah, it just didn't quite hit the note. It really didn't overall as an event. There was a couple matches here that were really great, and then there was a couple matches that were like, one match in particular that was sort of like meh, and the other one was like it shouldn't have been the main. So C+.
Yep. So you're going with C+?
Yes.
Man, that's cold.
It is, because I felt that strongly about the first match, and also the main shouldn't have been the main. Sorry.
I highly disagree.
Well, you go right ahead.
I think that's a little rough.
No, and another thing, because we are trying to cruise here to the end. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to shuffle off into the sunset. Thank you so much for listening. We do so appreciate it. The big gold belt that he has yet to defend, because he is a paper champion.
I am a
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We do so appreciate you. You can find our podcast on all the major podcast purveyors: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, Podbean, and more. Just search for Free Range Idiocy. Pardon me. Give me a Diablo sandwich and a
We
Dr.
are
Pepper
class
to go.
if we are nothing else.
You know, hey, gas is a thing. We all have it.
Yeah,
you can find all of our episodes individually to download at freerangeedc.com. You can also find full video episodes on our YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/@freerangeedc. Or just search for Free Range EDC if you want. However you want to get about going to there, you go ahead and do that. You can find us on the social medias. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and the aforementioned YouTube. All of those are at Free Range EDC. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, suggestions, send those to tim@freerangeedc.com. And now, it is time for us to turn this show over to the least idiotic of the two idiots who run this show. I know that's a damn low bar to clear, but hey, he does it and I don't. So I'm going to ask him the second most important question in all of human history. The first being, what is hip? The second being, what in the high holy hell did we learn this episode, sir?
We've learned the following, my friend.
Oh, goody.
We have learned, we need to have a good story behind these matches in order to give them some juice.
He's the red!
And a few of these matches had it, and a few of them did not. And those that did not suffered.
Jabroni!
We've also learned that if we don't see Cena face Brock Lesnar again, then we don't know what the heck was going on with this match, because holy moly, that would make no sense at all, just to have Cena get his butt whooped.
None.
And get no vengeance. We've also learned that Free Range Idiocy is bullish on Stephanie Vicaire as women's champion, and EO Sky did a phenomenal job. Should have been the main event.
Yeah.
And we are both in agreement that the main event of Wrestlepalooza could have been better. Could have had a little more juice to it.
Yeah.
We've also learned that while Uncle Todd may have the gold jacket, the man they called Tim has the gold. So together we make a Ric Flair, but separately, the big gold is what matters. I love how you do the shoulder. I love how you do the shoulder slap, just like he does it.
Jet flying profile.
I just love. Before I wrap up here, folks, I just have to say one of the funniest segments with Flair, though, from the not too distant past, was when Evolution got back together. This is, I don't know how many years ago this was.
I was going to say the not too distant future. Like, what is it not too? Are we talking about the Paleozoic era?
I would say it's got to be between 2016 and 2019, somewhere in there.
They got back together then?
Yeah, Evolution did. And it was when
2 out of 4 of them had a walker.
It was when Batista did his last match. He had this run as Evolution, and then he was challenging Triple H. Anyways,
okay. When
they're trying to bring Evolution together, you know, Batista cuts this promo where he talks about how Triple H has never beaten him. And, you know, and the crowd goes, oh, you know, like everyone's like, oh crap, he just laid one out. And, you know, Triple H's face goes kind of, this is when he's still a performer, of course, you know, his face goes kind of, and he's just kind of looking at him. And Batista has this, like, just rock solid look, just staring just right through him, you know. And then you got Flair in between the two of them. And he just goes to Triple H. He's just like, he's like, don't worry about it. And he does this, like, to indicate, like, that means, like, that's shorthand for something, like, oh, he's trying to one up you here or something. Yeah. And he does it again. Like, he does it once. And Triple H is looking at him like, what's this guy doing? And Flair's like, oh, it's nothing. He's just doing that. And I'm just like, what the hell is that?
It's Flair code, man.
It made sense to Flair. I don't know that it made sense to anyone else.
Well, because Flair was drunk.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. And finally, we have also learned that in fantasy football, Uncle Todd is going to be on the losing end of things, but the man they called Tim is making a run like you wouldn't believe. His defense and Hollywood Brown are bringing him to the promised land, ladies and gentlemen. So Uncle Todd's looking right now, too.
I am, because I'm behind by 30 points. You don't think Lamar Jackson is going to get me 30 points?
He's not. He's not. He's just not. I'm sorry. He's going to be facing the much vaunted Detroit offense. Or defense, I should say.
You are worse than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I am worse than Hulk Hogan at this point. All right, with all that being said, let's wrap things up here so we don't hit 3 hours. We thank you once again for the listenership, and as we always like to close things out here on the range, be safe, be healthy, be kind. Yeah, thank you, Rick. Be good to one another. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The range is closed for now. See ya.
I like a Mussolini.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
I beg your pardon, what did you say?
Who made this coat? Hugo Boss? Armani? You set it up, broke? Hell, my life just started, Jack. Damn!
You're such a disappointing pair. I prayed so hard for you. Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
Who are you? Never tell me how to wrestle!
So say we all.
So say we all.
Look at that. He does all that, and he gets the Uncle Corny in there. Very nice. Very nice. Let's hear it. To be the man, you got to what?
You got to be the man.
There it is. There it is.
I think there's only one way to take us out considering this.
I think so.
Here comes the money.
Oh, very nice.
Here comes the money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Cheating, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
That is phenomenal. You got that on the board? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. That's incredible.
If I had some ropes, I'd bounce off of them.
I bet you would. I bet you'd drop an elbow, too.
On nothing.
And a knee, for that matter.
On absolutely nothing.
Now get the hell out of here!